From basically when I was in 6th grade to like the end of my sophomore year. He was in prison. We drove every weekend like 8 hours to visit him, and this company that was now failing, but because my dad had built such good relationships with people, we were able to like float and survive with a couple $1 million of debt. We sat at a table just like this, essentially 16 hours every weekend as a family. And I mean, what family talks for 16 hours a week with no phones and no anything?
Welcome back to the Forum Media Uncut podcast. We got two very special guests today. Backstory on this podcast: we actually filmed this after midnight. This was a podcast that ended at 3:30 in the morning. These two guests actually were with me at an e-commerce mastermind with some of the smartest people in the world when it comes to this stuff. And we decided to drive 5 hours from where we were to this office just to make sure we knocked out a podcast together and got them to the airport in time for their morning flight. First of the two guests is Mr. Ashton Shanks. He was the head of copywriting and media buying at Traffic and Funnels. If you're anything in the digital marketing space, you know exactly who those guys are. They are pumping ridiculous numbers in their revenue and have been around for the longest time in the coaching space. And now he's transitioned into having his own media buying team, his own agency, and working with some of the biggest names in the space with the biggest budgets in the space. This guy is absolutely a savage media buyer when it comes to advertising online and just everything copywriting and marketing psychology. So super excited to have him as one of the two guests on the show.
And the other guest is Mr. Braven Grant, the founder and CEO of Gains in Bulk, an amazing supplement company that we actually work with here at Forum Media. I rave about their products. They have an amazing line of products. But not only that, Braven has an incredibly deep and amazing story that he actually shared on the podcast, I think for the first time ever. It was extremely emotional. Unfortunately, I had to interrupt him at one point because I had to pee so badly, but he still picked it back up. And this was one of the most memorable podcasts I've ever recorded in, hundreds of podcast episodes I've done. This one had one of the most powerful stories I've ever heard. One of, fall to triumph to everything. It's just an amazing story. So buckle up and enjoy this episode with Braven Grant and Ashton Shanks.
Well, we're here with Mr. Braven Grant and Mr. Ashton Kutcher. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Kutcher.
That's correct. I have my career has really gone downhill. And I decided to find, it's midnight. Let me go to a creative agency. I'm in Atlanta. I know Eddie. Let me get on this podcast and really hope that someone will give me a job.
How's Mila Kunis doing?
She's doing fine.
Wow.
She's doing Mila stuff.
Classic Mila, right?
Classic Mila.
You know how Mila is.
If it's not this, it's that, You know
100%.
You know what I'm talking about.
No, but on a serious note, Mr. Ashton Shanks, these are, I'll let them talk about themselves, but you guys sincerely, I really mean this, you guys are both under the age of 25, right? Mm-hmm. Correct?
I'm 25.
You're okay, 25 or younger.
Yeah.
And both, I'm going to let you guys kind of talk about yourselves for a bit, but from a business success standpoint, right? And you guys both have kids, you're married, you're starting that journey of your life as well. But from a business standpoint as well, you guys make more in a month than most people in the world make in a year. And you've done it with integrity. You've done it with delivering great products, you know what I mean? Great services. So you haven't done it in any sort of scummy way. And I've had the opportunity to hang out with both of you this weekend. I've had the opportunity to know you before this weekend virtually, and I've hung out with Ashton in person before as well. And I've seen you guys interact in every possible situation in that time that we were together. And I'm very observant, and I truly believe you guys are good people. And at this age, doing things like that and making a positive impact on the world is, really, really impressive. And we become numb to that. You know what I mean? You guys were just in rooms with people making $40-50 million a year in some cases, Yep.
Yeah.
And you look at yourself, you're like, well, who am I? You know what I mean? So it's good sometimes to sit back and be remind yourself, you are to most people something they won't achieve in their life that they try their whole life to achieve. Not only do they not try, but some people try and they can't get there. So mad respect to you. If you guys want to kind of start this off, people know who we are at this point, but I want to know who you guys are. And you can feel free to be as open as you want. Past guests on the show have been Matt open, because the first half of this is going to be us knowing each other, and the second half is going to be us shooting the shit. So
cool.
Braven, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, no, thanks. It's super dope to be out here. Like, honestly, I've been on probably at least 100 agency calls, and very, very rarely am like impressed with the humans on the other end, not necessarily like what they're saying they can deliver, what they're saying that, you know, they're going to do for me or my business or their claims, but like genuinely like, hey, this person has integrity. I can see like the person that they are. So the team that you guys have and who you are, Eddie, and Andrew, and everyone I've met on the team is just quality people. So it's fun to be out here like this soon into getting to know you guys and our relationship and hanging out this weekend. It's apparent that it wasn't just a show. So no,
well, we're on a show, so that's great.
And he also asked you who you were, so you might want to do that part.
Who am I?
That's amazing. No, but seriously, so Braven, you have an amazing brand. If people don't know, listening, we're working with you guys. We got started working with you guys pretty recently, and we're just as impressed with you. So if you want to just kind of explain your company and everything like that.
Yeah, no. So I own a supplement company. Our company is Gains in Bulk. We do whole food sports supplements. So I kind of grew up around nutrition and health and fitness my whole life. My dad was the first nutritionist ever in the NBA, fully hired on a staff. Has worked with a lot of,
First nutritionist ever
hired in the NBA. Yeah.
That's crazy,
So
bro.
back in '93, when the Suns went to the finals, like Charles Barkley, all those guys. So, yeah, he's been in that world, formulating all of that. And then he more exclusively works with like doctors and health professionals with holistic kind of approaches. So, when I was 17, saw kind of a big need in the fitness niche, which especially at the time, it's come a long ways, but it was very, very, very synthetic at the time. It was very aesthetic and synthetic, I would say. And so was able to convince my dad to let me take some of his raw ingredients, and we would just drive to expos and sell them. Had no idea.
You were like how old? You said like 17, 18?
Yeah, 17. So my
Dang.
senior year of high
That's
school.
crazy.
Right after basketball season got over, we drove out to the Arnold Classic, had like a table and a banner and a bunch of black bags of like just raw ingredients.
Drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Essentially, but really quality stuff, because like everything, since the inception, it was third-party tested, really, really clean. So even though it was a little bit of like a crappy put together thing, the product quality has never been anything less than like what I really, really felt people needed. So yeah, we started and it's really evolved over the years, and really, I guess I've evolved probably in understanding the e-commerce world and getting online and really trying to make it grow. Whereas for the first probably 4 years, we were really just stuck. Driving around.
Stuck
expos.
in bulk.
Yeah.
Is that why your name is Gains in Bulk?
Yeah, I mean, we essentially, the idea at the beginning was, hey, let's take these raw ingredients, sell them to people who might want to like basically almost put together their own stuff. And it was fun, and I like that, but I really essentially realized like I want to bring a product that does it for someone. Like it is a lot of education, and people want like the formulas and the access that I had with the IP that my dad's created. I really wanted to like start bringing that over into the fitness niche that didn't really have that. So. Yeah, I mean, that's our company, so that's what we're about. But I've grown to love like the marketing and the business side of it, and working with people like you guys. So
yeah, and that was the coolest thing I think with like when we first started working together, realizing the actual proprietary stuff that you guys had.
Yeah, like
for people listening, if you haven't checked out Gains in Bulk, like they have actually legit products. Like we're We've seen a lot of different, not even just supplement companies, but we work with like, a bunch of different e-com companies, and like sometimes the products are awesome and sometimes they're like, this is a decent product. Like we can sell it. It's not like the best product in the world, but like, yeah, it's a good product. But like your stuff, seriously, I was like, we've seen so many things in the fitness industry. We've never seen a chewable pre-workout. We've never seen creatine that just 100% dissolves in water. Stuff like that is like, holy shit, like they're doing like amazing stuff over here. Why the heck, like,
Yeah.
Are they not exploding? So it's really, really cool to like be able to work with you guys, and we're stoked to grow the business.
It's funny, the people who are the best underplay themselves all the time. Like someone with like a mid-tier supplement company would have come in here and talked about how sick their pre-workout is. Braven didn't say a word. And he was like the most proprietary products in the market.
They're actually so sick.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
we
I'm
actually took ADF earlier.
Yes.
We
nice.
we ate Five Guys burgers.
No
So,
way. And you guys took
yeah.
ADF?
We took athlete digestive
Yeah.
formula from Gains and
Yes.
Bulk. I'm not
stomach.
feeling any.
It's a
I'm feeling
lifesaver.
great.
Yeah.
My
It's a
stomach.
lifesaver.
We
Cheat
ate a
meals
bunch
later.
of fries. We ate Five Guys burgers.
I'm chilling.
Terry's
Yes.
chilling.
Like,
Yeah.
I just want to pause and talk about that for a second. Like, that's pretty fucking cool. Like, I know I'm the agency owner in this situation, but like, that's fucking awesome. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
using your products, believing in your products, knowing your brand. Like,
No, that's dope.
Like
That's
that-
dope from my end too. To
Yeah.
know that you guys are taking it like,
No, that's cool.
and that you're gonna experience that and be able to go and be like, oh wow, yeah, I actually like I ate
Yeah.
I ate a shitty meal and I feel decent. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it. I mean, it's not about going and eating shitty meals.
Yeah,
but,
it-
like,
it's the ability to do it, even
Yeah.
if you want to.
yeah, and even when we're eating like a healthy meal, it's not going to digest well. Like chicken breast isn't really going to digest well.
Yeah,
so
I've
same
even had
thing
like big
applies.
old like protein shakes full of like great stuff, but I just
Yeah.
feel like super bloated afterwards. You know,
Absolutely.
stuff like that.
so speaking of awesome people, Ashton, you get a pretty sick background for such a young age. So
Yeah.
like dive into it. Tell us the work stuff, and then we'll get into like personal
Yeah.
stuff.
How far back you want to go? Because I told you pretty much all of it this past week.
Yeah, I mean, go back to like, I would say like the fairest place to go back to is like middle school, high school, and take it from there. I feel like
Okay.
anything before that was like personal.
Yeah. So, first off, thank you for having me on. It's been really cool to get to know you. I know, Andrew, you and I go back a little bit, like we just through another friend.
Yeah,
But, Eddie, we just kind of just started connecting, and so been really cool to hang out with you. But
It's cool how fast
yeah.
it's progressed and how before we knew each other, we were both doing honest things behind each other's
Right.
back to not step on the other person
Yeah.
in any way.
Yeah.
Even when people handed us opportunities
Yep.
with money,
Yep.
that would hurt the other person.
Yeah, exactly.
No
And
one
it's just
ever.
what I said. It's like you rarely
ways.
find those people, and so usually it's really quick when you do that. You
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah.
that's a funny thing to say that, like doing really good things behind someone's back, because you're
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna treat them really well, but they're
Yeah.
never gonna know
Yeah, yeah.
unless we hang out.
Yeah, exactly.
100.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, my background, so I got really lucky. I fell into marketing essentially. It was back when I was in high school. I was always very hungry to work for something. And this lady had wanted me to come work for her, packing up orders like when eBay was a thing, right? Before Amazon was a thing, eBay was like the thing everyone sold. So we sold cell phone parts online. And that company started growing pretty fast. I would literally walk to her house after school to her garage, and like we would just package up phone parts and like put it in the mail, right? And that company started growing pretty fast, and I think it was like 3 months in, we were doing like $300K in revenue a month, like just out of nowhere. And all of a sudden they're like, we should start a marketing department. Ashton, you're the longest standing employee. I'm 16 at the time, right? Like, she's like, you're our longest standing employee. Do you want to be the marketing director?
for
And like,
it.
I'm 16 and I'm like, I don't know what that is, but they don't know that. That sounds awesome. Yeah, that's me. Like, I'll be the marketing director.
And Ashton's like, that's how I became the marketing director of Sony.
That's
Like, you know that like type of story where it's like the company really grew and it became a company, called Apple Computers.
this.
Like some shit like that.
We'll get this. So like, it started growing really fast. I literally remember going to Barnes & Noble back when Barnes & Noble was a thing, and picked up Marketing for Dummies. And that was like literally the first book I ever got on marketing. And then it was Jab, Jab, Right Hook when that first came out, right? And so anyway, the company started growing really fast. Anyway, I was there for 3.5 years. And when I left, another company had heard about our growth. And they're like, you should be a marketing director for over us. So
Pause. This is what I'm talking about. We grew really fast. What was the lawsuit? That company had a lawsuit.
So yeah. So when I left, we were doing $3.2 million a month in revenue.
On eBay. On eBay. Just like eBay.
Well, not necessarily just on eBay, But I was the one who opened up to Amazon. So when Amazon came around, I saw it and I was like, I think Amazon could be a cool thing. And so at that point, we were doing like 900,000 a month. And so I opened up the Amazon.
And this was still out of this lady's garage or what?
No. We had a 10,000 square foot warehouse.
I was like, holy shit.
We became the second largest exporter out of the city next to Bass Pro.
Holy shit.
Bass Pro's headquarters is in Springfield. So we were like, they had semi trucks coming to the warehouse every day and we just load it up and they take it off, right? So anyway.
Crazy.
It's, that company I leave, someone texts me like 2 years later, right? I'm a marketing director for someone else. They text me 2 years later and like, dude, did you hear about what happened to, I want to say this and people are going to go to Google right now, Flash Technologies. And they were like, did you hear about it? If you look up Flash Technologies, Springfield, Missouri, you're going to see a letter from the Homeland Security or Department of Defense or something like that. The owner got taken down for $90 million in counterfeit sales.
Wow. So they were selling
million.
They were selling
it was like 90 or 60. Someone like
they were selling
computers.
It was 90.
Yeah.
They were selling like counterfeit parts for cell phones and stuff.
Yeah. So again, I didn't. The story I heard was that at some point they were making so much money that her partner that lives in Shenzhen, China. So in the beginning, he would go to the Apple factory, Samsung factory, buy the parts, send them to the U.S. We would sell on eBay. The story I heard was that they started making so much money that like in year 2, they ended up just building their own factory in China.
Shenzhen. Yeah, because that's where it all
sending their own counterfeit to save money. And the
and they weren't even telling them.
Yeah,
I bet you the quality was the same.
100%,
dude. It's so hard. Like it's so hard to tell because in the repair industry, parts would get broken all the time. You don't know if someone screwed up the repair or whatever. But anyway, the FBI raided the warehouse 2 years later. She went to prison.
She went to prison.
She went to dude. She was like old. She was like 60s. Bro.
What?
She was just making so much money. But with that said, at a company like that, when you have an owner like that, anything I wanted to try, they just like try it.
Yeah, what a
wow.
Anything. So that's how I learned a lot of marketing. And then
you got a decent amount of ad spend right there. Freaking $3 million a month.
Social media was becoming a thing, and so like I just got to experiment so much, but I didn't know like what I was doing. Like,
was this like Facebook dark posts era, or like even before?
Back when like porn was everywhere on Facebook. You know what I'm talking about? Like where it was everywhere.
The good old days.
No, dude. No, it was bad. It was so bad.
Now it's just in the comment section on Instagram.
Dude, for real. And the DMs. What the hell?
So anyway, back then I wanted to be a pastor. So like literally marketing was just whatever I was doing at work, I just became passionate about, right? So anyway, we go help plant a church in New Orleans. I get married at 18 to my wife, Ari, and we moved to New Orleans to help plant a church. We were there for a bit and then moved to Seattle, helped plant another church. And I wanted to be a pastor at the time. That's all I wanted to be. And anyway, doors kept closing. Anyway, I found Facebook advertising. And I see this ad from this guy, and I was like, I recognize this guy. He was my worship pastor at the church I went to in Missouri. It was Taylor Welch from Traffic and Funnels. And I'm like, oh, man, I recognize that guy. And I like see Traffic and Funnels, business consulting, and I don't even know what consulting is at that time. So I'm like, that's cool. I'll like the page. Click, because I'm like, oh, I know that guy, right? I went. His brother, Peyton, was a senior in high school at the same high school I went to. And so, anyway, I just see marketing, and then a few months later, something happens, and I need to help support my family, and we were living in Seattle. It was very expensive, so I had to drop out of school. I wanted for pastor, and a buddy of mine, his name's Ryan Steenberg, you might know him, was a good friend of mine, and he was making $20K a month from being a client at Traffic and Funnels. I was like, no way. If he can do it, I can definitely do it. That was literally like my just attitude, but I didn't have the money to get in the program. Long story short, I start stalking everyone I know that's a client there because I'm like, they're going to just be doing everything that Taylor tells them to do. So I'm just going to do what they're doing so that I don't have to pay for the program. Started working, doing a lot of organic, posting value, which really all I was doing was scanning Facebook groups, seeing the questions people asked, and then Googling the answer and then responding. I had no idea how to run, on any kind of level what they were saying. I hadn't touched ads since back at Flash Technologies. And so I was just hustling, basically, and trying to be the thought leader. And then I finally got a client, and I used it to buy Dan Henry's Facebook ad course. And that's how I learned modern day Facebook ads, right? Back before, like, you had to like submit a request, right? So I learned Facebook ads, and I built up an agency making 6 figures, it's 7 and something a month, right? And I'm working full time at Verizon, and I see Traffic and Funnels put out a internship post. And so I apply, and I shut down my agency, and I just go work for Traffic and Funnels for 3 months for free, and was just like, just let me do anything, organic, social media, whatever. Like, I'll just let me be near you. And worked there for 3 months. They liked me, and I stayed on. I got fired and then rehired like a day later. That's another story. But anyway, I worked there. I ended up working there like 2.5, 3 years, and learned a ton. And then I needed to move back to Missouri in April of last year, just to be around some family, some health stuff. And then I started Hemon Media, and that's what we've been doing since then. That is so long.
Another
I'm so
downplay.
sorry.
Like, what
about
downplay.
how long
Started
that
Hemon.
took.
All right. So how much
now that
money
we're
does
here.
Traffic and Funnels do? Let's just clarify for people that don't know what you're talking about.
What?
How big is Traffic and Funnels?
Oh man, now so I started with them, I believe, around when they were making around, I think, $250,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was leaving, I don't know where they're at now, but when I left, we were around 1.5 million a month. Mm-hmm. But then they were building Sales Mentor and then Wealth Cap. And
Okay, cool. Let's call it $4 million a month.
Yeah, so
It's like
holistically,
if you wouldn't
like,
have
Traffic
dropped
and
the
Funnels
3.2.
well, I was like, holistically, if we were looking at just Traffic and Funnels, they're $20-25 million company.
Okay.
A year, though.
A year.
No, I think they're more. I think they do 40.
Now, I'm not sure now. It's been a year. So
Oh, net 20 makes sense. Net 20, 25 makes sense. Yeah.
I feel like we would have freaked out more about the 1.5 a month, but a second ago he was talking about the company that made $3 million a month. So we're all kind of like,
We already
we're kind of like,
got sued for 90. You know,
snooze fest, 1.5.
Yeah. Something cool though that you mentioned that I think everyone at this table was at one point they had to do everything.
Yeah.
For something.
Yeah.
So like you in marketing, you did it for that business, but you also had the freedom to be malleable and try things, right?
Yeah.
This is important. Braven's the same way.
Yep.
Like I bet Braven would go toe to toe with anyone in regards to supplements, like creating the best shit. And marketing wise, this man actually builds his funnels, builds his emails,
Right.
used to do his ads. You get what I'm saying?
And
like,
is good at it.
is good at
That's
it. Like
the cool part.
people ask him to do it
Yeah.
for them,
Yeah.
and he declines. You know what I mean? Andrew over here, literally for 4 years straight, I was begging him to come work with me
Andrew's a wizard.
because he had to do everything on the content side.
I was honestly pissed, kind of pissed, like happy, but like pissed when I found out he worked for you. I was like, if I knew I could have hired him.
Look, I've been recruiting this guy for 4 years. This was a mission. I was on a mission, bro. You can ask him. Every time I saw him,
Do you remember I actually reached out to you and like subtly was like, do you know any like content makers?
Dude, it was funny. It was funny too because at the time I was like, dead set on what I was doing, and I referred my friend.
Yeah.
Because I got the vibe. I was like, oh, okay, like he's asking, would you or anyone else? And I was kind of like, not me at the time. So I like kind of passed the buck to my friend, and it was actually Connor Peterson.
Connor's great.
Connor's a beast.
He's actually we trying to get Connor on the team.
offered, and he came on really excited, and then he decided that like he was like, no, eventually I'm gonna build my own thing, and so I'm gonna continue. I think he was working with his dad.
Yeah. Well,
so he's like, I'll just stay here.
Well,
Same
I think
situation.
also he said I thought he said something about like a non-compete or something like that too, and he was kind of like.
He sounded like an admin at that company he was at. He sounded like he was just doing like kind of.
Well, now, I mean, it's not. Yeah, now I know he quit his dad's company. Now he's doing content full time. But he's
traveling in a van.
He's traveling in an RV around the country.
If you're listening to this, congrats, because like that's actually awesome. You're highly skilled.
I want to say something else too about what Ashton, what you said about when you came to Traffic and Funnels and you were like, I worked there for free for 3 months and said, I want to get close to you, I want to get around you. Like, it's like I get DMs quite a bit of like people like, can you help me start a business? Can you help me like figure out this online thing? And it's like, you're not going to just like figure it out tomorrow. Like you're not going to just like throw up something on the internet, but like to do what you did and to understand like going and trying to just give someone value and just get close to them and not in a like begging way, but in like a giving way. It's something everyone should be doing. And I continue to do with people who are above me or around me or even below me even.
I think, something I'm super grateful for now is like, I think I'm a great CEO right now because I was a really awesome employee at one point.
Yeah.
Like I really understood what servanthood looked like. I think right now the problem is people will come to me, and I'm sure they come to you guys all the time, where it's like, come let me make content and I'll like coach me how to do content. I'll work for free. Right. But for you, it's like, that is a lot of work for me to train you. I'd rather go pay someone that already knows how. My approach had to be not like, what did I want to do? It was like, what do you not want to do? And I'll do it. I don't care what it is. I'll post organic social media. I'll like do anything that you don't like doing just to be around you, rather than like, hey, can I come work for free? But really it's extra work because now I have to try to train you.
The servanthood thing was very important. I think the fact, back to the point of, you did a lot of things, applies to the servanthood comment. Let me kind of make a case here. So like even myself, I'm the same way. I think I'm really good at marketing because I had my family's businesses, and that allowed me to do whatever I wanted within a budget. Like other people may be spending $500 a day on a theory. I would at least be spending $50 a day on a theory. You know what I mean? Like split testing constantly. But from a servanthood standpoint, as a leader, I always, when I worked in my dad's business, I was like not in an office on a computer. I was on the floor, interacting with employees, engaging with customers, understanding everything. Where are the holes? Who's unhappy? Why is it unhappy? Where are the inefficiencies? And I optimized step by step, from admissions to the actual fulfillment, to how the testing process is, to how the food is made, what the menu alignment is, to see where people are clicking. Bro, on just from a level of website, this is how far it goes. Like me thinking what items are clicked the most and in what order it needs to be on the menu for the kitchen to move the fastest, and then taking that to a website. And just the other day, I moved 2 categories on a homepage with 15 categories listed. I switched the place of 2 categories and doubled the conversion rate of a store. Like that's how far that knowledge took me.
Insane shit.
You get what I'm saying? So
that's what makes it so fun.
Right?
By the way, like just like you move 2 things around and like change the conversion rate.
Well, you guys
that's
even
what
saw
makes
it in the training
really fun.
I just did. The screenshot, the landing page.
Yeah.
25% to 40%.
Yeah, crazy.
Like that.
Headline lead change.
But why? Because you've been doing this. You've been doing so much of it.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not just doing one thing.
Yeah.
But everyone's worried about like top of funnel when they're not like actually optimizing the shit they already have. You know what I mean? I feel like people are like, just like, spend more. And it's like, you could have just like swapped 2 things for free, by the way.
That was the point.
Instead of spending more money and made way more money.
It's so much easier to optimize your sales page's conversion rate than it is to bring down your CPA.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much easier to do that.
And really, you just have to be doing both.
But businesses just don't like that. It's just like, it's like, no.
So Traffic and Funnels, they're a serious company. You left, you started. What did you start?
Hemon Media.
Hemon Media, okay. Marketing company. You do ad, specifically media buying, right?
Yes, sir.
But specifically aggressive media buying.
Who are some of the people you work with?
No bitch budgets around here.
Are you allowed to say?
Of course. He puts them on his presentations, bro. Pull it out. Pull it out.
Yeah, so
I mean,
put it on the table.
These aren't small people.
No, you're good.
Like,
So I mean,
they're small in person, but they're big in the pocket.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means. But no, we have some great partners that we work with. We're really, really fortunate to work with incredible companies. We work like Dan Henry, ClickFunnels, Lady Boss, Steel Supplements, Jay Shetty, Redline Steel. We have some really cool people that are changing the game and have changed the game. And I mean, I think it all comes from that idea of servanthood, like you were talking about earlier, that I think there's something unique, and I think the market recognizes authenticity. That's why I think you guys have seen the growth at 4Media that you've seen, is that like authenticity is something that stands out. Like it just happens. Like people recognize it. And I think for us, something that we've been really fortunate to have is the ability to, our partners understand that, and this isn't every time, but for the most part, our partners understand that even if results or platforms are crazy or whatever, we are still the best stewards of their revenue that there is. So results might not be great, but if it was with anyone else, you would be losing a lot more. And in times like this, I think businesses like that you guys have and what you guys have done in just this past year, it becomes so blatantly obvious, and the market sees it, and it's a light in the darkness, quite literally.
Damn, that's very inspirational.
Thanks, dude. I mean, dude, I'm like, you're trying to get me in my feels right now because I'm so passionate about this. On calls with our teams, we are frequently realizing that, like, I mean, how many people's parents are divorced? And probably half of those got divorced because of money, right? Yeah. How many people grew up with less because times were tough? And it's like the work that we do quite literally can save families.
Yeah.
Bottom line. My parents are divorced. Anyway, I'm sure half the other people in this room, if not everyone's, like, we can stop that.
Or at least a big reason, a big percentage of the reason that happens often.
At least it's like we're doing our part, right?
Yeah.
We're giving you that opportunity. And so, like, businesses, like, last year is a great year for a lot of e-commerce businesses, and my goodness, how many families, like, got a great experience because of that. And it was, you guys were behind that curtain.
100%.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was one of those companies, you know, like, before last year, we were literally, like, for 4 years straight, struggling, literally, like, on the line. And, like, we didn't have capital. It's not like we were, like, you know, some big growing, like, company. It was literally, like, I was just, like, busting, trying to, like, sell stuff that, like, my dad had created. And so, yeah, last year literally, like, changed everything for, like, me and my wife and my family, and now a baby, and, like, being able to actually, like, live, you know, and take some of the stress off of her. And so,
isn't it crazy how, like, perception of how last year went to the world is so different?
Yeah.
So serious.
It really is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we didn't realize COVID was happening within these walls.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, we got COVID for like a week as a team. Luckily, kind of all together. It was like one.
we all just worked from home for a couple weeks.
Yeah, one big home run. We're like, fuck it, Christmas break.
Yeah, we got it over
work
with.
from
You know
home
what I mean?
December 15th of January, and we'll meet next year.
Yeah,
you know? So,
Literally.
it was cool because, I mean, besides that, like, I mean, everyone showed up to work every day. Like, we fucking, like, there was no bitching, there was no whining in this office. There was straight, like, yo, well, everyone's being a bitch at home, like, we're gonna kick some ass together.
Dude, it was funny because I left Traffic and Funnels in April, and it was like literally 2 weeks before the COVID really started.
Wow.
Locking stuff down. And so I left, and then 2 weeks later this happens, and I'm like, I'm so scared at that point. I'm like, oh no, this was the worst time to leave a job. You know what I mean? I was like, I had stability. I have a kid, you know?
Yeah.
It turned out to be the best thing that could have possibly happened for me.
Yeah, I had to, like, just turn off social media because I was, like, getting
not to make light of people dying.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
No, not it.
and
by
not
any
to make
means.
any light of that, but it's like at some point I had to just literally be like, I'm not going to just sit here and talk about how terrible 2020 is every single day, every single conversation, and, like, it wasn't for everyone, you know, and, you know, not to downplay the bad things that happen, but.
Dude, 100%. Because, like, the thing is, like, people love to just, like, cling to this idea that, like, you know, like, people are like, I'm having a bad day. And it's like 10 a.m. It's like, you're writing off the whole rest of the day.
It's quite literally
you know what I mean? Like,
year.
fuck 2020. It's like, dude, like, it's August. Like, 2020 could get better by next month. I mean, the pandemic's not over, but, like, you can, I mean, we can talk about it all day, but, like, perception is reality, and I'm not, like, a denier of COVID. I got fucking COVID. Like, but
real talk, though,
we were able to get back to our shit.
I mean, like, real talk, though, I think it's so cool, the power, and, like, thank you for having this podcast, because I'm the marketing guy, I'm the media buyer, and this, I don't normally get to speak outside of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So first off, thank you.
Yeah, it's normally just
Thank you.
headlines and
Like, you guys are from two completely different states. You are from a state that doesn't actually exist on the map, and he's from Arizona.
Never heard of her. You know what I mean?
Who?
But no, like I think the cool thing of like when I saw last year, when I looked back at last year, I was like, this is why I love entrepreneurship, because the world can go through what happened, how many restaurants got shut down, but how many of those business owners are literally going to reopen? Because like that is the entrepreneur's spirit. Like the entire world can get shaken to its core, but it's quite literally the entrepreneurs that'll bring the world back to order. Like regardless, it's not the government. It's not any, it's entrepreneurs who bring business and commercial back. That's who recovers.
yeah, and the
country.
real entrepreneurs that shifted during that time and said, how can we go serve customers still? Like, even though our restaurants closed, like, how can we still go serve our customers?
Yes,
like
they
were
got
solving
innovative.
that problem.
They came up with applications and software. I'm sure some restaurant owner is making $1 million right now because he adapted and created the solution.
Dude, Chick-fil-A spent so much. Yeah, you can say it. Go for it.
I was about to say, bro, like Chick-fil-A, like it's like they saw the shit coming, bro.
They had this stuff before COVID.
I swear to God, 2019, the whole year, they shut down Chick-fil-A's. I'm telling you, locations that are doing $15,000 every single day, 20+K on weekend days, okay? And they shut them down for 4 months.
Every single store.
Location strategically, like in
Not all at the
semesters,
same time.
right? Like within, like if there's 3 in an area, they shut down 2 at the same time, but leave the one in the middle and force everyone there, so there's still a Chick-fil-A. But they turned their entire model, like just pure architecture and engineering, they turned it all into drive-through. Like double lane. We want to pound out
quadruple lane, and the one we went to.
Right. But they were like, we want to just pound out like 5 times as many cars as we are right now. That's all we want to focus on.
Because their biggest complaint was always like the crazy drive-through lines during lunch hour. Like that would be the reason why I wouldn't go there half the time.
It's too suspicious.
Right? It's like every location in the U.S., like you test
That's
stuff
quite
out.
literally a Noah's Ark situation. Like God told me there's a flood coming, and so I made more drive-throughs.
No. Seriously though, bro. Like, that's a lot, bro. How many locations do they have? Let's call. I'm definitely running it really short, but let's say like they have 400 locations.
Easily.
Okay, right.
Like
easily. I'd say 1,000 at least.
You think that if we say Chick-fil-A like 5 more times, they'll like actually sponsor this?
I don't know. Maybe not.
We
Maybe
tried
not
with Monsters.
Maybe not 1,000, but either way.
Yeah, we
spicy chicken biscuits.
I'd say we've spent like $10,000 on Monsters in the last like year, and we don't have a sponsorship, so I don't think it's gonna work.
Cardomax.
One time actually, throwing a biscuit plug in here.
One of my partners, Cardomax. Where's the camera? Cardomax. Try it. Clean energy all day.
Hey, not on the Monsters podcast. This is a Monster only podcast.
You said they wouldn't sponsor you.
I don't care. We're still going.
Monster only. Sean, if you see this, come on. We're bros. No, just kidding.
That's amazing. But dude, it's literally like with Chick-fil-A, they literally just switched their entire thing, and that was what I was trying to like get to is like people. I feel like a lot of people in the world, and especially in the United States, they feel like they are like owed a living somehow. You know what I mean? Like just by existing, they're like just owed the right to exist comfortably. Which, yes, I agree with to a certain extent. Like people should have, you know, the right to be comfortable and provide for their family, all that stuff, of course. But like you got to go out and get that.
I mean, the rights that we have is the pursuit. Like, right, we're not entitled to happiness, and a lot of people say like like everyone deserves to be happy, and it's like I get the point of saying that. I'm not saying like I don't want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to be happy, but what we actually have the right is the pursuit of it. No one is like entitled happiness. Like if you want it, like you got to go freaking get it.
Exactly.
Well, you see it like how hard is it to hire, because people would literally rather stay at home, make a little bit less consistently every single month, then go and get it and deserve it. And it's going to be the entrepreneurs that actually loop everything together are the ones who are going to pay for that.
And what I think too is like a lot of people from that side of things are viewing it from like a scarcity mentality where there's a limited amount of jobs and a limited amount of opportunities. And I think people like us see it as like the world as our playground. Like we can create businesses, we can create opportunities. We're providing value to the world. I think that's like one of the biggest things I always take away from like Gary Vee is like you bring value to the marketplace, like what you were talking about earlier, like going out and actually serving your clients in an amazing way and helping them make way more money so that they can bring on more employees, like all this kind of stuff. It's like you can actually bring extreme value to the marketplace and you'll be rewarded 10 times over.
There is no finite amount of money. Like, that's just not like that's like such a
quite literally is, but you know what I mean.
As of last year,
not really. The money's just floating around. No one's holding on to it.
Like if we were on an island, like over time, we could all build like a crazy ass castle on there. Like over time, like we wouldn't all have to stay in huts. Like there's like you can grow the value of the entire island as a whole.
Saying, like,
you know what I mean?
Eventually, our natural resources to produce the money runs out. You know
the physical.
Everything is temporary.
Stupid. Never mind. Back to
Are you guys big on cryptocurrency?
I was gonna try to take it there.
Ashton's actually an expert.
Apparently, so I have like 5 fake profiles of me right now that are like apparently very good at the DMs, you know?
Wow, yeah.
Apparently, okay, so hey, if you, which most likely you actually probably are listening to this if you are copying me. They're getting really good. They're carrying on actual conversations. People are sending me this. It's not just like copy and paste. They're like actually a human.
No, it's worse. It's worse.
Decent copy.
I uploaded a photo that I didn't upload. You guys saw this? I uploaded. Yeah. I had Andrew pick the photo.
Yep.
Like, we uploaded a photo that wasn't on my profile, just so it was so small they couldn't copy it. And someone sent me a screenshot 2 days later, and it was a profile picture.
Well, they inspect Element, and then you can go to.
I know, but I'm just saying these guys are like on top.
Oh, but they are doing that.
That's such an extra step. You know,
they literally like are better at being me than I am.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to this, stop,
go fuck yourself.
Or you're a decent copywriter. Maybe you have a potential at even media. You know what I mean?
My guy's not so good.
I mean,
I know you live in Virginia, by the way. I've ran your IP address.
You were telling me that earlier.
Yeah, so be careful what you keep messaging out. I might come your way.
Longitude. No, I'm just
156.12.
I'm not saying if anyone shows up to 352 South Court in Richmond, Virginia, but if you do,
what if that's an actual address, dude? Like,
you should. Yeah, that's funny.
Just kidding. Ha ha. No, just kidding. It doesn't exist. Don't look at.
Don't go there.
So crypto. What do you guys think? So, because on the way here, we were talking about fiat, right? We were talking about money's fiat. You were passionate about that,
dude. If you ever read Monster from Jekyll Island,
which, by the way, you've been preaching that book this week.
You've got me started on it.
Oh, let's not talk about what I talk about.
You're literally
let's not talk about
hat.
No. We can't talk about what I talk about is like off air though. That one thing that I was telling you guys about, that's off air. That's like
I think I know what it is.
The Nigeria
No, you don't know. You don't know.
Okay, now just like making stuff up.
Okay. But you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Alps
I just want to make sure. Okay,
that's what brought up. Yeah,
that's off air. That's off air.
I'm so kidding.
The rest of it though, we can go in.
I don't remember which one part, so I'm just not going to say any of it.
No, just what we talked about when we first got to the airport in Huntsville.
Yeah. No, we're
when you guys were like, no way. I'm like, yes way.
If you don't know this, yeah.
But also the Chick-fil-A thing.
Chick-fil-A thing, I'm game for. Yeah.
No Chick-fil-A thing. Well, we were just talking about at Chick-fil-A. Let's just end.
Oh, yeah.
Cryptocurrency is an interesting thing, though.
No, on the Chick-fil-A.
When none of that. Anyway.
No, I assume that. That was by the way, we made a rule, guys, for Andrew and Terry. We made a rule on the way here. The M5 is an NDA. It's a driving signed NDA at all times.
It is the M5 NDA.
Yeah, if you speak in the M5, it's a non-disclosure agreement automatically. Nothing leaves those walls, so I apologize. You guys won't hear any of that.
It's okay.
That's it. Yeah. Eddie found himself a wife that literally wants a car that goes bop, 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 and she does the hand signals and everything.
And if you're only listening to this, then you should go check the video out.
Yeah. That's too funny. But
also subscribe. No, I'm just kidding.
So you're in on crypto? Like, how do you feel? Like,
I'm not in
how deep?
Crypto.
What percent of your portfolio is crypto?
Much. I have like 40 grand in.
Okay, so you don't care too much for it.
No.
You're like,
and he's like, and that's only 1% of my portfolio.
Yeah. No, actually, funny. So if you do follow me on Instagram, you remember when I had my son, when I was in the hospital with my second son, Beckham. when he was getting born, my wife was sleeping and the baby was sleeping, and that's when I put most of the money in because I was delirious, and I was like just seeing big fluctuations in the marketplace. I was like,
You're like,
let's play.
marketplace go up and down.
Yeah, I was like, let's play. No, actually, I got in actually in early Doji, but I don't know anything about crypto. So like, please understand if you are listening, I am not giving any advice because you will lose money if you listen to me, right? But I got in Doji pretty early, around like around the 8 cent mark, and I had maybe like 10 grand in then.
You're a gambler is what you are. You're a gambler.
No, I think I just like new challenges.
That's not a challenge. It's putting your money in and hoping to God that thing Doge goes to the moon.
For me, like Doge was dumb, right? I had a lot of altcoins and stuff like that, but more of like a let me play quotation mark Warren Buffett kind of thing, you know? When it's I stopped doing it because Warren Buffett's is like, I don't invest into things I don't understand. Yeah. So that's like why Warren Buffett doesn't invest in Apple or tech, you know, because he doesn't understand it. And so
Warren Buffett's invested in Apple.
Warren Buffett doesn't understand what an iPhone is. He doesn't understand Apple.
What is his telephone?
He's like, is this a fruit?
You know how entrepreneurs are always bringing up like Warren Buffett goes to McDonald's every day and his wife does 3 options and like whatever, right? And I'm like, dude, yes, we all have Netflix. We've seen the documentary. Like they're acting like there's some like modern day know-it-all. Anyway.
I haven't seen the documentary, and
they're always quoting it like that thing. Like I'm like, yes, we've all seen it. Or when entrepreneurs want nice things, you know, that you want a nice car, they're like, Warren Buffett drives the same Cadillac, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yes, we've seen Netflix. I understand. I don't want to be Warren Buffett.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So that's why I'm all in on crypto, baby.
Bitcoin. I'm just kidding.
Are you all in on crypto, Andrew?
Dude, I'm pretty in. I've had way too many like really, really good conversations with my roommate who is in like really deep in it. And like every time I like make a new breakthrough, I'm like, holy shit, I need to put like all my money in this.
Really?
Wow.
How much have you? Never mind. You don't have to if you don't want.
No, I mean, how much have you like honestly
full send?
No. I haven't gone 100%.
Let's not talk money. Let's talk like percentages.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Of
Portfolio,
money, right?
Like, that's what I was gonna say.
I put half my current cash in crypto.
That's a much better. Yeah,
that's a better way because it's perception for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was gonna say, I like back in October, I had this crazy thing happen where there was a financial planner. You can look it up actually on this guy, Chris Burns. He is like a financial planner. My family was involved in his like scam that happened where basically tons of people were putting their life savings with this guy to be their financial planner. Most of his clients knew him through church. He used to be my youth pastor back in the day. Crazy actual story if you look into it. But anyways, my family was involved. I was involved. And I lost like a portfolio that I thought was a great investment at the time. It wasn't a ton of money, but it was like something I had in my back pocket where I was like, oh yeah, I've also got that like 10 grand thing.
How are you? How old?
When I put the 10 grand in, I was like, I don't know, like 19 or whatever.
That's so much money at 19.
At 19, that's crazy. Crazy.
And basically like,
yeah, like first year out of high school.
But it was a weird situation.
$10,000 at 19.
Yeah, it was a weird situation. My brother put in money, and anyways, so like it all came out. Like I got a lot of the money over time. Like it was this weird thing. But anyways, I lost money, and then that was like I need to stop like trusting other people with the money. I'm young. I've got like money to toss around. Like I should try to figure this out. So then that was when I started just like going into stocks because me and my brother were like looking into stocks. I'm like, dude, I know enough about like tech companies. I can like throw some money into these things. I know what's going to be good. I know what's going to stick around. So I just like put money in that. And then I'd had Bitcoin in the past, but at the time I was just like not really paying attention to it because I'm like focused on the stocks. And then basically like my roommate, we started having these amazing conversations about crypto. And then that's when it kind of like around last year, Thanksgiving, all that kind of stuff, like popped off in January, February, all that. So I've been investing more and more since then. But I'm like fairly new, but I feel like I know more than the normal guy. But anyways,
That's dope.
Yeah, well, I've talked. I mean, I'm not an investor. Like, I want to be a businessman for now, and so I get a lot of like different ideas and feedback on that. But I tried to play the stock game for a while. Thought I was like pretty hot. Like, if anyone knows, like CCIV was like a pretty popular. Yeah. So I like rode CCIV super hard with the whole Lucid acquisition, all of that, and I made some emotional decisions and lost a decent grip of money on that, and I realized like it was just so like it took stress on my brain, and it was so unsure. I was unsure, and I was like, you know what, like I'm not going to put my time and energy into something I'm unsure of when I can just literally go put it into my business and give myself a raise there, like today. Yeah, that's creating like impact. It's creating like future, revenue for me. So anyways,
I agree but disagree at the same time.
I know, and I expect people to disagree with that, and it's
I agree with that.
I'm at, in the sense of like I want to create a decent amount of cash where then I have like the time that the actually like I don't know.
No, I 100% agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying like there's a difference in the value of the money that's being made without you looking at it, and the value of money that's being made with you using it and working it.
For sure.
That's a good way of putting it.
But to that end, though, if you are in the beginning stages, I would say, of having a stable business,
definitely don't put in
I would
stocks.
say stop. That does need to go back into your business.
100%.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm
stop
like
trying to cut corners.
And that's
what
and that's why like the rich get richer. It's like they're able to have that play money to like they don't need to put all of their capital into like the one thing. I think like that's what's crazy about like nowadays. Like the retail investor can be someone making like 25 grand a year. Like before that was just impossible.
Yeah,
for smartphones really.
I'm not saying any names or anything, but we were just talking on the way here about like the difference of the people that don't.
Just saying the same.
That like put the money into the business, and the people that like want to like take the money out of the business, and at what time they do that, and the impact that it has. Yeah. Like, would you say honestly, working here, that besides anything like stupid unreasonable, we've always done a good job as a company, being like someone saying I need this and getting it as quickly as possible.
Dude, 100%. Like I think a lot of people don't realize that like they're like, oh, I really need this thing, but they like don't say anything because they don't want to be a nuisance. And then like every time it comes up, you're like, wait, what do you need? And then it's like, I mean, it'd be great if I had an extra monitor or whatever. It's like, cool, here's 2. You know what I mean? It's always just like, let's do it. If it's going to make you that much more productive, that's literally making us more money.
It's like, because
we're optimizing.
Literally as a CEO, you're like, what? You're telling me if you have this, you can serve our clients better? Of course.
You can be less stressed. You can be more efficient. You can spend the same amount of time. Sign me up.
Yeah.
But also like in my head, and I think there are different ways to run a business, so I'm not claiming this is the only way, but in my opinion, as a CEO, I feel like you have such a responsibility to make sure your staff is okay.
Yep.
And when you just liquidate every month and just like leave nothing for the business, it's like that's so disrespectful and negligent. Like CEOs,
people are putting their trust in you.
Yes, they're putting their livelihoods, their kids' livelihoods, and you're like not going to make sure that that thing is safe for them. Yeah. I hope capitalism does its thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. From 4 Media, I have not paid myself a six-figure salary until this year.
Yeah, that's huge.
I definitely didn't do that, but
remember, this is from 4 Media.
Yeah,
but just from 4 Media, that business. Yeah, that makes sense.
But my numbers. Last month was the first month I took a distribution,
and you liked it,
and I don't even know what to do with it, but it was cool that like, oh, this is the cool side of being a CEO, that I can actually do this and not have to feel guilty. At first I felt guilty.
Yeah.
I was like, why wouldn't I just leave it in the business? I'm like, no, I told myself that this is what we need, and above that goes into investing or something.
Yeah.
But it felt so weird at first, but then it was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to feel. Like, I'm not just supposed to take a literal paycheck for the rest of my life. I get to do this, and it was cool.
So if you had like $100,000 right now, well, let's say $1 million that you could put cash, and you had to pick like real estate, cryptocurrency, stocks, where would you feel the safest? Where you have to keep it there for 10 years?
Oh, keep it there for 10 years.
Yeah. $1 million.
I think that's a no-brainer for me as a housing. It's real estate.
Yeah.
A no-brainer. That's the only thing that would increase in value still.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you, Andrew?
I'm going crypto.
You're going crypto. Is it for the upside?
10 years,
and I
dude.
respect
10
it though,
years.
because you at least have an understanding of it, right?
Yeah.
So for me, for example, dude, okay, so this is actually funny. Literally, when Bitcoin was at its recent, so it hit like 69, 55, 74. I think it dropped back down. When it hit 52, I quite literally cleared it with my COO, talked to our CFO department, the service that we use, and I was like, I think I'm going to take 40% of my liquid cash and put it into Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it plummeted.
I was going to say, ouchies.
Goodness. I mean, obviously, so like the crypto nerds out there would be like, it doesn't matter. You're thinking so small. Like in 10 years, it's going to be like over 100. You know what I mean? But at the stage of business, I could hear them now. You know what I mean? Like I can, I was about to drop a last name, but then like, no, I don't. We could go viral. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we were, no, I'm not going to do it. But at my stage of business, that would have been detrimental.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have killed us, but it would have stung just to know that, oh, great, I'm a great CEO. I just
so you didn't actually put it in? Okay, great.
No, I didn't put it in.
You were clearing it, and then that's when it like plummeted, and you're like, let's maybe not do that.
Do it. I just didn't get around to it. I think I had a mastermind, and I didn't get around to it, but I'm like, man, that would have been such a sting.
Yeah.
I'm such a good CEO, guys. And it just disappeared 25%, overnight.
I mean, I almost did the same thing. I got it approved by everyone. The board, the whole board said yes.
Yeah.
But for reference, okay, last year, I'll just say numbers because it puts it in perspective. I have to say numbers. If I say percentages, it just doesn't make sense. So last year in March, I invested $140,000 into the stock market. By December, it was worth $2.6 million.
What?
Yeah. Let that sink in.
Oh, baby!
Wow, I didn't get on that game.
And so I was like, homies. I sat down. It was Terry and Fredo, and I was like, we all have seen my portfolio.
I am God.
So, what do you guys think about me just taking all the money we make that we don't need and investing it on a 4Media investment account? With your portfolio shit, of course, bro. So everyone was on board. Anyways, I decided not to do it because I was just lazy and didn't want to open another account, right?
Yeah.
I was like, whatever.
It is a nightmare.
It's just annoying. It's like then I have to deposit starting a new account.
And
it's
then
like $50K at a time. It's gonna okay. I'm like, whatever. Not about it. And I never did it. And since my portfolio has dropped, thank God.
How much?
Thank God I didn't invest. Let's just.
I don't have a mic.
My brother, it is not good. It is not good at all. So here's the story, and here's why the voice is important, the Nigerian accent, because Julian, who's now our CFO, in January made a call. He's like, ouch. He's like, bro, buy Jamia. So no one knows this except my wife and Fredo, because I did it in front of them. But I was like, you know what? It looks good. I looked at the chart. I did research on the company. It's a Nigerian. It's like Amazon of Africa, for reference. Okay. You're like, oh, Africa, shit market. Yes, but everyone still needs water, shampoo, toothpaste, the basics, right? So I figured, okay, doable. Then I asked friends in Nigeria. I was like, hey, how is it? And they started sending me photos. And I'd get like 12 photos a day from the same person of different Jumia delivery trucks and motorbikes. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, holy fuck.
This is like Amazon in the
Like
beginning.
Amazon about to scale, right?
And you look at like the vast amount of people in Africa and how quickly Africa is advancing and everything.
How big is the U.S. in population?
Like 400 million or something.
330.
I think it's like
around 300.
something like that. 350.
Let's
You
call
know,
it
it's
350.
funny. The only way I'm doing that is I'm
COVID?
like, no, I'm like a lookalike audience. 1% is
Oh,
2.3
yeah.
million,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so that's 1%.
But that's just Facebook
yeah,
users.
I know. So that's why I was like 300,
Yeah,
400.
it's like 350. So Nigeria is
Jay says
250.
328.
328.
332 this year.
Oh, my bad.
332. Nice.
Wow.
What about Nigeria? Just Nigeria, not Africa. Nigeria.
I have no idea.
Terry's about to tell us. 211 million
In a tiny
in
spot.
little baby Nigeria. Imagine all of
That's nuts.
Africa.
Yeah, that's
Hello. Funded by Europe and IPO'd on the US stock market. It's like
Yeah.
Wow.
like headquartered in Europe, but HQ on the ground in Nigeria, the most powerful African country out of them. I'm like, hello.
This is Africa.
Wow.
Africa, 1.4 billion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Wow.
With a B.
They're growing.
do
They have a chance.
Do you feel me? So I was
They
like,
have a chance.
I did my research. I got all the clues. I'm like, you know what?
Makes sense.
Fuck it. I'm like all in on this bitch. I put in 170 grand. Everything I have in the stocks that was like liquid, right? I was like, I have this laying around. I'm gonna put the rest of it in here. 10 days later, I pulled out $340,000.
Come on.
I sold it all. Like I sold it, doubled in 10
Yeah.
days. Like let that sink in. I was like, I'm fucking
10
like,
days?
what is this? I was like, babe, we're
like,
fucking. You
my
want that?
brother.
You want to hear that pop, pop, pop? It's 1 week away, baby. It's 1 week.
And that's how he became a dad. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a car, by the way, for everyone.
He doesn't have a kid. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
So anyways, what happened was I got that boost of confidence from it, and then it kept going up, and I was like, okay, like I'm doing the numbers. What's the market cap at? It was
Yeah.
like 4.5 billion. I'm like, this could easily be 6. I'm just
should I
like,
go back in.
I went back in,
Yo, let's go.
and then it went down a little bit, right? Like I was like, okay, I gotta, average out the cost here. So I bought more. And as of now,
Oh wait, you haven't pulled out yet?
I've never showed this number to anyone, except my wife.
Now I want to see proof.
And I am down $340,000 on this one stock. And thank God I did not put 4Media's money on this stock.
Yo.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
I'm so glad you didn't do that until this moment. We've been doing this for like how long? I'm so glad you waited
That was a good moment.
until that.
So
That was perfect.
This is
Harry.
not rehearsed.
no.
That was
This is not
amazing.
rehearsed.
But all that being said, if I had to take 10-year biggest upside, I would go crypto. If I had to go 10-year biggest return that's guaranteed, I would go stocks.
Yeah.
And if I had to go 10 years
Really?
guaranteed not to disappear for whatever reason, I would go real estate. Unless you're going to cash flow on that real estate for 10 years, the stocks are going to appreciate way more than that real estate, guaranteed. Let's go back,
Really?
bro. Let's go back
Why do you
10
think
years.
so?
Let's go back 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah.
That's like a fair cycle, right?
Yeah.
Like we feel like a crash is about to come again. 10 years. Okay.
Sure.
So we're going back 2011, 3 years after the crash. Okay.
I don't think the real estate market's going to ever crash like it did in 8. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible.
It's happened multiple. I'm not saying.
It would never happen like it.
Okay, I'm not saying to that extent, but let me just use an example here. Real estate prices right now are like, if you look back, are like 20% higher than they were in 2008.
Oh, at least.
But like only 20%.
You're talking about right now?
Yeah.
They're like 20% higher than last year.
like last
you know what I
month.
mean? Like
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I know you're laughing, but look at what it cost last year compared to 10 years ago. It's the same price. Like
10 years ago?
my parents bought their house in 2007, and right now that house costs 20% more than it did in 2007. Run the math across neighborhoods. I'm telling you, I get on Zillow. I'm like, what did this house sell for on this date?
So
what is it valued
that
on now?
means it has to drop back down?
No, I'm just trying to make a point that after 10 years, it could only appreciate 25%. No way in hell I'm putting that in any sort of major company, and it's only going up 25% in the next 10 years. I'm saying the upside is higher than the real estate upside in regards to value. With, we could say, the closest thing to just as much security as the real estate. I'm just kind of giving pushback on this topic of like where you would put your investment.
The reason I would say real estate though is because the cash would go much farther than $1 million. You know what I mean? Like,
you're buying it on debt.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm assuming like you have to spend $1 million.
okay, because you're not gonna get that much.
Because
for
I'm
$1
like,
million
yeah, you
with
can
real
like
estate,
how
but you can go
many millions could you buy with $1 million
with
cash?
5.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
like,
actually a really
quite
good
a
point.
bit.
I wasn't thinking
That's
of it like
$5 million
that.
worth, and you're getting equity down,
and
and you're getting
you only put the
18%
million
cash on
at the end of
cash.
10,
You know,
if it's
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
But
Even if it just
okay,
paid for itself.
Okay, I guess.
That's a fair point.
so
Well,
like
that's a
me and
different thing, I
Braven
guess,
could
from what you were
basically
saying, so.
give out autographs at the end of the. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I guess I was assuming no cash flow. I was
I gotcha,
assuming
I
like
gotcha.
you're
Okay.
investing it in
Just
where
the
would it
A
property
come
million
itself,
worth of
or
real
is the
estate,
thing?
$1 million.
exactly.
Worth of
What would it be
stock.
worth in 10 years? What like
That's
what would
true.
you wager it on?
I mean, if
Yeah.
they just gave me the $1 million, I would probably throw it on crypto. Honestly,
yeah, right.
I have
You'd be
like-
like, fuck it, I'll take maybe 10 million in 10 years.
yeah,
could be easy.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you
realistically, I'd say
diversified on
putting
it
in
too.
something like a Bitcoin or what's the other
Ethereum?
Ethereum would probably be like the safe bet. The concern with the stock side would be you're almost assuming crypto won't disrupt the stock market in the next 10 years, which I don't think is a likely chance. I think crypto has to disrupt something.
The other thing to keep in mind is like crypto is worldwide and it doesn't sleep. Like the stock market, like turns off.
Yeah.
And the stock market is like the United States. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like obviously there's other stock markets, there's other markets in different areas, but like the really, really interesting thing about crypto is like not only just the opportunities here, but like the opportunities in like, just like we were talking about with like Jumia and stuff like that. Like in a lot of third world countries, they trade like cell phone minutes as currency almost rather than cash. And it's like, if you can eliminate the middleman banking, like there's just so much crazy opportunity, not just for people that are already living in a world where money makes a lot of sense and stuff. Like for the emerging world, like they're behind, but they're gonna catch up. Like everyone eventually catches up. Like, you know, no one besides like Amish people, like people aren't like driving around on like horse and buggy. Like everyone's got a car. Granted, it might be like a really shit box.
Everyone's
like
got internet.
You know, everyone's got internet. Like
The world's getting more even because of the internet.
it's crazy because like even, you know, 10 years ago it'd be like, holy shit, that homeless guy has an iPhone. That's crazy. Now it's like, no duh, the homeless guy has an iPhone. Of course he does. You know what I mean?
Let me take it from a third world country perspective of how quickly the world advanced. 10 years ago, I used to go to Lebanon in the Middle East, which was like party city. Like everyone from the US and Australia and UK, all these countries, Canada, that were from Lebanon would all go back. So for reference, the population would go from 4 million to 10 million in the summer because that's how many outside people like myself would go back to Lebanon.
It would go from what, 4 million to 10 million?
10, yes.
Crazy.
Holy crap.
Yes, and it was cool because everyone had family there. So
Yeah,
no one was going and they were like, we're out of hotel rooms. It's like everyone had
It
a
wasn't
place
like
to stay.
tourists.
It's
It
like,
was-
my grandma lives there, or my parents
That's
bought
sick.
an apartment on the beach
Yeah,
there.
that's crazy.
Right? So I say that to say like 10, 15 years ago, trends used to hit Lebanon like 4-5 years after they hit America. So something would happen.
Yeah.
Like this got really hot.
Yeah.
And then like 4 years later it would get hot in Lebanon.
Yeah.
And then over time, as I grew older, it would go to 3 years. Then it was 2. Then it was 1. And then now we're at the point where something will happen in America, a trend.
You're talking about like a business trend or any kind
Or
of
like
trend?
social media,
a
like
life
cool.
exactly
things.
Like
right
fidget spinner.
example, but like on a deeper level, like
Water parks.
bell bottom jeans.
Oh, okay.
Bell bottom jeans. Boom. 2 weeks later, Lebanon girls are wearing bell bottom
Yeah.
jeans. Crazy shit, right?
You see that in the U.S. You see it like the West Coast, L.A. will come up with something, and it'll take 2 months and then it'll be in Missouri.
No, I know, but that's 2 months. I'm
It
saying
probably takes longer to get
He's
to
saying
Missouri
right now
than
in
Lebanon.
Lebanon it's like that now.
Oh, that fast.
But it
Yeah.
used to be real. It used to be
even
like 4
culturally,
years.
Lil Baby will now drop a song in the U.S. and I'm going to a club in Lebanon the day
it's
after
playing.
it dropped, and a DJ's playing a Lil Baby song in fucking Lebanon. You get how
That's
deep
crazy.
that goes
Yeah,
culturally
yeah,
speaking.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're
now-
completely on pulse with the rest of the world.
now more than ever, ages match across the world. So like a 25-year-old in the U.S. has like 80% similarity to a 25-year-old in like Lebanon. Just an example.
That's a
right?
really good point.
Whereas
really,
in the past,
really
it
good
used to be like the opposite.
Yeah, so true.
It's crazy. Now when you travel, like, dude, even our people that are in the Philippines, our team in the Philippines is betting on the NBA finals. They're killing me. They're like, what are you taking, the under or the over? It's 4
Think about
today. I'm
that.
like, what
That is
the fuck, bro?
interesting.
Like, you
Yeah.
serious?
That is.
That's
Totally.
interesting because, like, think like even in a media buying sense, right? We target different countries just because it's other audiences. It's like we don't even really ask, like, does it sell better in the UK or America? It's like, no, it's just an extra placement.
Yeah.
They're gonna like it like, just like Americans would.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
yeah.
You're so right.
That's
Like,
actually
we
very
never
true.
think of that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just like, oh yeah, Singapore, Germany, doesn't matter. Throw them in. You know what I mean? Let it rip. Let it rip, Jim. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
But yeah, it's just
actually such a good
crazy
point.
how much
Yeah.
the internet has evened the playing field, and that's why when I see people in other countries still bitching and making excuses that they're in another country, I'm like, as much as I understand, you actually now have an advantage for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Because you've grown up having to be hardworking more than people in America, and you now have fiber internet just like people in America. Anyone smart right now in America is not going and using the ground of America to make money. They're using the internet, which is also just as available to other people.
Yeah.
True?
100%.
Right?
Yep.
100%.
So I think now more than ever, they have an advantage if they capitalize on it instead of just bitching that they're in a third world country. But that's how crazy the internet has even the playing field. I can hire someone from Ecuador, which starts tomorrow at work, who's the most fluent guy in English, has a master's degree in videography, like has filmed commercials for Coca-Cola. And I'm fully aware that he's going to, I trust that he's going to be 100% dependable, even though he's in Ecuador because of the internet. It's
So
fucking
cool.
nuts, actually.
It's so funny because you're gonna get people listening to this podcast. You're like, there are people in villages that don't even have electricity. You know what I mean? They're not listening to this podcast. Okay, you are. You lazy sack of
Like, clearly, we're not talking about like that random.
Yeah,
fact.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we're,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Within
you're. That's a really good point. Yeah, and it is crazy. Like, it definitely. I mean, it's definitely level the playing field for everybody. But you're so right. Like, it's. I even think about like TikTok and stuff like that. Like, it's just wild to see like how everyone kind of is making the same jokes and stuff like that. Like across the whole world, you're like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
it's completely shut down barriers. Also, I think that's why like young people don't understand like. I mean, young people, it's hard for them to understand anyways, but especially like international conflicts and shit like that. It's like, why are we mad at them? They're funny as shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why are we fighting these guys?
Yeah, we
like,
see 'em on
they're cool.
TikTok.
Like, I
We
see
see 'em
I see
everywhere,
them doing
Yeah.
dances
We're
on TikTok.
not
They're
starting
like me.
wars. No way our generation's going to start any
No.
wars. They're going to be like, all right, we're going to play Call of Duty 10 on 10. Whoever wins takes it.
We're gonna 1v1 Rust. All right.
Yeah, 1v1 Rust for this.
That'll be in the Olympics.
For the moon.
Dude. It'll be in the Olympics for sure.
But honestly, it's kind of embarrassing on how the world views the United States now.
I think it's
Like, it's
embarrassing
really
sometimes how the
embarrassing.
United States views the United States.
Well,
sometimes,
yeah, but you know, like that's always like, you know, people always do that. You know what I mean?
Is it how
But-
the world views it, or is it how the United States media has poorly portrayed it?
Them. Yeah,
in,
exactly.
In,
You know,
in the best interest of a
It's a
hidden
valid
agenda.
question. It's 100% a valid question because, yeah, I mean, quite literally, it's like we only know what they show us.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's it.
100%. So you're right. I resent my statements.
Crazy, right? Because you know what's crazy? I guarantee you, everyone outside of this country, outside of China and maybe India, are like, actually, definitely India. I can tell you from where I live. They all want to come live here.
Yeah, I mean, it's still
Sure.
it's still America.
My friend, who has the option to live in any other country right now, has invested the last 10 years of his life in America, still with no citizenship and visa, and he just got an invitation to go get a citizenship, and like it's 10 fucking years.
Yep.
And he's done everything for 10 years not to slip up an inch.
Because
that's how important it is. Because it doesn't go here's the thing with coming to America is it's a permanent thing for the rest of your generations. So you guys, I assume your families were from here, right? Yep. You too, right?
Yep.
I'm the only immigrant family. Yeah, like I thank my dad all the time. I'm like, thank you.
He sacrificed,
Because no fucking way would I have been where I'm at without growing up in this country at the end of the day.
Because, I mean, you have friends back in Lebanon where it's like there's just shit going on. It's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yes, but that kind of goes back to my excuse at the same time. It's like, yes, you're in Lebanon,
true,
but like marginally speaking, you should be further than where you're at regardless. It doesn't matter. That was just you. When you talk to people and they're like always making an excuse of like why they're not starting something, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, it doesn't matter where the fuck you are.
It's crazy because like my COO Isaac, his family they came from Peru when he was a young kid, and the first day they got here was in Miami, and the first day they got here they got mugged.
Wow.
Got all the cash they had brought from Peru
To a country they've never
been here. They're by themselves. They're wandering the streets of Miami, and they built themselves up from there. Yeah, it's just incredible. And now he's like very successful. He owns like this bathing shop in Miami, but it's like high end bathing suits and stuff, and like does really, really well. Hand makes it all. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like I mean, like I've been super blessed like in my life, but it's like you. I don't know.
Well, kind of. You had your own struggles. Yeah. Like, that was not a light story, man. That made
Braven's story is like, whoa. I don't think I've ever heard one that intense.
Unreal.
Yeah.
But I mean, even with all that, like overall, I feel super blessed. Right. But I love hearing that. It's like there really just no excuse. Like there's no. I don't know. Like, you just have to. Everyone can do it. Everyone has a chance. Like they literally came to a country they had no idea, like what they were doing, where they were going. No. And I know him. Like he's a stud. Like he's awesome.
Isaac's incredible. Yeah. Have you met Isaac?
Yeah, I've talked to him on calls.
Incredible dude. I mean, it's just their whole story is a testament. But you see that stuff, man, and like when I hear that stuff, and like any kind of people who have come here and like really risk it all. Yeah, I'm like, I'm such a weak entrepreneur, you know. Like I walk around like, I'm an entrepreneur. You know, I have my team, like with big staff, whatever. And I hear stuff like that. I'm like, I've gone through nothing. I've been so babied this whole time, and I know it's gonna happen. You know, it's a matter of time. It's always a matter of when, right? But like, dude, it's such an incredible testament. And I honestly have to ask myself some of these stories. Like when I hear that, I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could go through that. I don't know. It's tough because you still have that entrepreneur DNA inside of you that's really deep. That's like, nah, I'd figure it out. Like it could get so bad and I'd just figure it out.
Yeah. I'd be confident in the people at this table figuring out Braven's situation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think all of you probably have had similar things. Mine just sound crazy when I tell them.
No, yours is another level, bro.
It's pretty intense, bro.
give us a little rundown.
No, you don't need to. No. It's pretty. Only if you want to, bro.
I don't know, bro. Someone listening right now will hear that and be like, "Damn, like my life just changed."
Yeah, but part of it might not be his.
But Braven's life isn't going to change by telling the story. This is my opinion, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I've told it. I don't like just throw it on social media. I've shared it a few places though, but I mean, it's hard to tell in a shortened version just because you can't really give context. But if I was to shorten it, essentially, when I was like 3, my mom passed away. My dad had built some really successful business, really, really successful. Like I said, he was working with this, Phoenix Suns, San Antonio Spurs, all around the NBA, into the MLB, different things like that. And my mom passed away from kind of a really terrible accident. She had broke some ribs on a hiking accident. Anyways, took some medication, ended up drowning in the tub. Terrible accident. When I was 3, and so, anyways, that happened, and that's It's too much. I'm trying to shorten it because it goes deep.
Keep it rolling, bro.
I mean,
I'm here for it.
Essentially, my mom's family worked for my dad. They all worked pretty high up in that company. The company was growing, doing really well.
Dad took care of the family.
Yeah, he took care of all of them. Really took care of them. I mean, they were all, had 6-figure salaries, and essentially, like, they got to a point where they ultimately, there we go. They ultimately felt like, I don't know, there's entitlement, whatever that comes in, and they basically decided, like, hey, we're gonna, like, take this business and leave because we feel like we could run it without my dad or whatever, and so they kind of brought the whole company together. And when my dad showed up to work, they were like, hey, we're gonna take this or we're all walking. This was a massive company, like
Literally a hostile takeover.
Yeah, like a hostile,
Literally icon.
Yeah, like literally hostile takeover. I mean, my dad grown to like 20 million a year, like huge, like not a small operation, and manufacturing all this stuff. And he kind of just told him, like, like, see ya. He kept the company alive somehow, and but essentially,
So they all walked.
Yeah, they all left.
No, not just the sisters. They
Everyone.
took like 90% of the company.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. My dad
That's
was left with like
crazy.
literally like basically like 2 employees, like
Wow.
4 or 5 employees, including some like a couple staff, like warehouse staff, but out of like a giant organization. So anyways, when the company survived, like, I mean, I'm not in my family's head, but those aunts and uncles essentially took a case to the detectives, to the police, and essentially, if you Google my family, if you go Google my dad, it's like you're gonna find a lot of good and a lot of bad, and I literally can't tell you what's true. Like, you can decide for yourself what you believe, but essentially they made a case and said that they felt that my dad had murdered my mom.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine,
Bro.
Wow.
like
your
having
mom-
something like that happen?
Like he already, not even Braven, the dad already lost his wife.
Yeah,
I know.
And now he's going to go to prison.
yeah.
Wow.
And leave
Essentially,
his
it got thrown out of court, like really quick, like pretty quickly. Like there was nothing to go on, but they brought it back in. They had a really intense prosecutor who's actually been disbarred since from a lot of the things he did in that case that were malpractice. Like he literally cannot practice law anymore, for a lot of like really, really terrible things that happened. But anyways, essentially that kind of took over my family's life. Lawyers aren't cheap. Like we kind of lost mostly everything. And then essentially my dad was convicted of manslaughter, which means, like, if you don't know what that means, it basically means he didn't mean to, it's not like he killed her, but essentially, like, they were saying you didn't do enough to save her was essentially the sentence. So he was sentenced to 5 years in prison.
Wait. No. Here, it gets more fucked up.
Crazy.
But wait, there's more.
He got convicted of it because he called the doctor that was the neighbor to come help instead of calling 911 first.
Yeah.
Think about how
That's
messed up
so
that is.
messed up, actually.
What?
Like
The
literally.
like
neighbors
15
next door would
minutes
be
apart,
faster.
yeah.
Because they said she would have had a chance of maybe living if he called 911.
Not
instead
the
of-
neighbor.
Instead of the guy with the
Yeah.
doctorate next door who's practicing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and
How
I mean,
messed up
That's
is
so messed up.
yeah, and I don't want to get like political on it, but like our justice system is essentially established to like convict. So I mean, they really just convicted him on, like, he had made some like poor decisions. He had some affairs like when I was young, and they basically just brought all that into the case, and that was how they convicted him. But anyway, so from when I was in 6th grade to like the end of my sophomore year, he was in prison. He got remarried to an incredible woman who's basically raised me and my brothers and my little sister, and she's stuck in it with our family while my dad was in prison, and we drove every weekend like 8 hours to visit him, and
Wow.
we had this company that was now failing, and my mom, who didn't know how to run a company, was running it, and I mean, like, essentially failed, but because my dad had built such good relationships with people, we were able to like float and survive with a couple $1 million of debt, and just like literally like survival mode. Lost some houses and buildings and ended up moving with my grandma and stuff. But
From like private jets to nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, like quite
not
literally.
jets, but my dad had planes and stuff. You know, like he was.
Yeah, bro, not jets.
Not jets, just regular planes.
Come on, man.
Dude, I have to pee so bad.
I do too.
Yeah.
Can we pause?
Yeah.
Should we
What's up?
pause for a pee break? I'm so sorry. This is like the worst timing.
Sure, pause.
I have to
Fair
go.
enough.
So no. Over and over.
Welcome back.
All right, we're back. We've all drained our bladders. Jesus.
Oh man, that's so good.
But
I love it.
Braven, sorry, I interrupted like the best story. Not like
This guy
not
was
the best
shivering.
story, but you know,
Okay.
it's really,
I just want you guys
Braven's
to
in
know.
tears, and he's like,
Shivering.
"Stop those tears, real quick. I have to take a piss."
Yeah, I get it. You lost your plane, not a jet. We've established that. I gotta go.
but seriously, so you said your family was able to scrap it together, you know, even after, you know, losing so much, and you said you know all that kind of stuff. So yeah, kind of continue on your story.
Yeah, I mean, so it wasn't like things just went well. I mean, my dad was gone for 5 years. There was a lot of blessings that came in that. Like, you know, we sat at a table just like this for essentially 16 hours every weekend as a family. And I mean, what family talks for 16 hours a week with no phones and
Wow.
no anything? So
What a
really good
beautiful
point.
perspective, dude.
yeah, I mean, it was
I would have
beautiful
never
for us as a family. in some
expected to
ways.
hear that from anyone. Like,
Yeah.
No, it's a valid point too.
it is. What a beautiful perspective.
Yeah. No.
Most people could have just been pissed and mad at the world. That's what most people would have done.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't like I was just like stoked out of my mind.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well,
but-
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure, dude.
He's like, most people would be upset their dad is in jail. Braven's like, can't wait to go see jail.
Yeah, no.
So
it was-
you were in like middle school, you said at the time?
Yeah, so 6th grade till like the end of my sophomore year, and so, but yeah, there honestly was a lot of like really beautiful things, and like my family is super tight. It's like us against the world, and it was in that time like it didn't just feel like that. Like it literally like was that. So it did some cool things for us as a family, and connected us in a lot of ways, and anyway, so. We moved through that. I have there's a whole lot of other stuff that goes into it, and so to spare a lot of the details, but I have a half sister who's also like pulled out a lawsuit on my family during that time, and when it came back to the business at the beginning, they wanted my dad's business. That lawsuit was for my dad's business. That at the time was literally like worth negative $2 million, and they were like the business or $50 million, and it was like we were like in debt, and my mom's like we can't like hardly. We didn't like have money like at all, you know what I mean? So, that was a really crazy experience, and we had to like get through that, and we didn't have any money for lawyers. So my dad was representing himself, and, yeah, I mean, it was a really crazy experience. But one thing that I learned from my dad, and I look up to him a ton, is like, he literally is just like, we're going to keep putting our heads down and like working. Like if I start to talk negatively about some of those family members and people that like came after us, like he's the one that's like, no, like we don't talk about that. Like we don't talk about them. Like we're not going to sit here and be negative about those people. We're going to keep moving forward, and they'll see just with what we do. And it's been that example, and like that attitude is been massive for my life, and not turning myself into a victim. And that was just my dad being such a rock, being the one in prison, going through that in the worst way, the one that lost his wife. I mean, that character, watching him have that type of character through it, definitely like shaped me in a lot of ways.
So he gets out of prison.
Yeah.
You guys get together. Tell us what you guys are doing now, because this is like the coolest part.
Yeah.
It's like the Rocky story, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so it was he got home end of my sophomore year. The company was essentially like 6 employees at the time, which was like me and my brother doing like pretty much all the, and this is my dad's company, so a separate company, but doing like all the little things, like manufacturing, bottling, like labeling, putting lids on bottles, like doing all of that, like fulfillment. I did calls and stuff like that for a while, and so kind of just doing everything, juggling it. 6 employees at the time were, really, really small. I don't think he would want me to share numbers as far as his revenue and stuff, but essentially like he's taken the company and I would say since he's been home, I don't know the exact number would be, but like probably grown it back up about by like 20x.
Wow.
And got completely out of the debt, paid off anyone who ever gave him anything or helped our family in any way. He's at least given back, if not more, and completely cleared our family from all of that, which I can't imagine coming out of prison with like a mountain, like under a mountain of debt and all that. And again, like I said, it was like our family against the world. And, we were so tight. And that was when I fell in love with fitness. We didn't have a lot of money, and my dad just would, train me and my brother. Like that was what we did. We just hung out and just like lifted. And that was what brought me into fitness, and essentially like, begging my dad to let me take some of his products and bring it into the fitness market. And so, yeah, it's fun. He's grown his side of things really, really big, does manufacturing, really high quality whole food formulas. And we get to work really close to each other. We basically have a piece of the office complex where his place is at. So I work, just a little walk away from him, and so we get to still essentially in a way work together and keep growing and being our family against the world in a way. So
that's awesome, man.
So cool.
That's really cool. So your dad's business and your business are pretty similar, right? Or your business is more focused on the bodybuilding side, or like how would you differentiate the two?
Yeah, so I mean, my dad he wholesales products to medical doctors who are holistic or holistic, chiropractors, naturopaths, things of this nature all around the world, really. And he also like trains doctors on kind of how to take more holistic approaches to medicine. And so his formulas are a lot more focused on that side of things, like really more like health focused and things like that. And so we took a lot of that like knowledge, the ingredients, the quality, and have brought that over to the fitness side of things. And so that, I mean, we don't, in a lot of ways we're similar in some ways in the sense of like products and health and fitness, but very, very different like markets and like you would totally not know like that the brands are like so like in some ways interconnected. But so we buy all our product from him and his manufacturing, but it's really cool because I've been so involved in the manufacturing since such a young age, where we also get to be involved in the manufacturing and there's like some partnership there, like actually equity wise. So we essentially like are completely from the manufacturer to the consumer, and there's not a lot of brands that can do that, especially who are starting out like at our size, to be able to take like the whole customer experience from start to finish and fulfillment and everything that we could have that in house. It's a really unique thing, and so it's really like, I mean, it's luck. Like I didn't get to create a lot of that. I'm blessed because of what my dad's done, but definitely have like try to capitalize on that and make sure that I do the most with that opportunity I've been.
How are you guys innovating so like in such interesting ways? Like who's coming up with concepts like the stuff that you're doing? Is it a partnership with you and your dad? Is it you? Is it like, I'm just curious about that, because I feel like just in general, just from the research I've done on your product, it's like, damn, it doesn't seem like anyone is doing this. Like they're actually the only ones doing this shit.
I mean, a lot of it's, my dad's a really, really, really smart person. So a lot of it is me going to him with like a problem I see or a missing thing that I see. The chewable pre-workout was something that, like we worked on together and created, and he does a lot of the more like actual science formulation side. Like I know enough maybe to like get by and like talk about it, but he's the brains of all of that. And so anyways, so he does a lot of that, and essentially like I'm our own customer. Like I take all of our products every single day. Every single product I take every single day, other than female performance pack. And it's not because I couldn't, it's just, I have my own like pack of, anyways, you don't even know what that is. But anyways, I take every single product every day. Like I am the customer. And so I know what I want. Like that's essentially where we get a lot of stuff from, or like, people come and want different things. And so like we just released a pre-workout that we've been working on for super long time. And so, yeah.
It's so cool to see what you guys are doing, because it's not just like most companies, it's like a new flavor, same product, same nutritional value, same thing. It's like a new flavor, but you're like, no, here's a new way we can help your health and body. Like, it's not just a different flavor, different size. It's like, no, we've discovered a brand new way to make you even more healthy.
No, it's so true. Like, I was writing some copy. Like, I was writing like some copy that we were doing for a protein video. It was covering like all the proteins you guys have. It's like, literally, it's like, oh, are you this person? You use this protein. Are you this person? Use this protein. Are you this person? Use this protein. I'm like, this is like a complete system, like everything that you need. I'm like, this is awesome. Plus, they're all pre-digested, like just crazy stuff. I'm like, damn, like this is such cool, awesome products. Like, I'm actually like stoked to see, not only like you said that you take them all, but like, there's a lot of brands out there where the owners are not even their own customers. You know what I mean? They're kind of just like found a thing that they know they can sell. They don't really care about it. It's just something that's making them money, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with not completely falling in love with your business, but it's really awesome when you can see like someone, like you said, that you are your own customer. That's like a huge testament to like what you guys have built.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's hard sometimes almost to explain it in copy and stuff, because it sounds so dramatic of like, it is the only or whatever. Like, it's hard to communicate that, because people are like, like that sounds like marketing words. And it is like, it is marketing in a way, but like, it's real behind that. And so, I don't know. Something I saw growing up was like, my dad was 80% focused on, or he was like probably 99% focused on the product, like 1% focused on the marketing. And even though he's grown,
that's how it should be though, with people that are really in that, you know?
Yeah. Like, that's
every
his zone
business.
of genius.
Every business should be the product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's good, market will follow.
Yeah. And that's how he's grown. But I would also say it's held him back in some ways. Like, I see some companies where I'm like, man, like they're literally selling shit, like crap stuff and way bigger. And that's always kind of bothered me growing up. Like, it like put a chip on my shoulder, and I was like, man, like if I could figure out how to get this stuff to mass market, like to everyone, like I would feel so good about like literally just replacing what's in someone's hand already with this. Cause like, I know that it's
and that was the thing I kept finding when I was like writing some of the copy, was like, instead of saying get this stuff, it was like make the switch to Gains in Bulk this, because it was like we're hitting these people that are already taking pre-workout, already taking creatine, already taking protein, but like this is just a better thing at around the same exact price point. Like, why would you not make the switch? Like, I think that was the biggest thing.
And because we are like manufacturer to consumer, we can have such a quality product and have it at a really reasonable pricing and compete on price, even with some of the higher level of quality that we're able to put into them. So,
and from a marketing standpoint, if you think about it, back to like Ashton's presentation.
We're talking about marketing now.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, no, don't be sorry.
Braven, do not be sorry.
I was being a jerk, dude.
No, so I was saying like we can play those trigger points on people in ads, like why you should toss your creatine right now.
Yeah.
And people, I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, interesting.
Why do I need to toss my creatine? It's not like why this brand's better. It's like why you should get rid of this supplement that you're taking. I'd be like, whoa, what did they just discover on creatine? You get what I'm saying? You can play those cards because this product's actually so good.
Yeah,
and it's solving problems, like you said.
Yeah. So I think that's fucking awesome. And
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the easiest way to win as a business owner. Like, at the beginning especially, is to actually be unique. Like, don't fake being unique, like actually be unique. Like, I'm not the best marketer in the world, like, and I especially wasn't at the beginning. Like, the only way we really made it was being able to be like, no, look, it's unique. Like, look, let me show you. So I mean, if you're like trying to drop ship some random crap, like it's going to be a lot harder to make yourself unique. Not that it's impossible, but it's just going to be a lot harder than if you go create something that's unique.
But to be the devil's advocate a little bit, I also think because you are actually a good marketer, like whether you give yourself credit for it or not, you are a good marketer.
Thank
It's
you.
almost you're helping society more because you're allowing more people to benefit from your product because you're a good marketer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it is one thing to have a product, and yes, if you have a product that people love, it will expand.
But they get buried all the time.
Exactly. You see plenty of great companies get swallowed up, destroyed, decimated by bigger companies all the time, because at the end of the day, the bigger companies go, oh, we'll knock off, and then we'll just spend 3 times more than that company. That company will die off.
You especially see that in China, for sure.
So I would say even more so, you're a good CEO because you have put so much focus into the product, but also at the same time, you have a responsibility, to be a good marketer. Sure. Yeah, 100%.
Look at you over here, bro. In one podcast, you're saving families, and now you're changing. You know what I mean?
The world.
Changing.
We're hurting my street cred right now. We better talk about some like meaner stuff, less emotional stuff.
Yeah, we need the Predator.
Yeah, the Predator a little bit. Like, I'm hurting my rep right now.
Ashton is labeled the most savage motherfucking media buyer in the world. Is that right?
Yeah, most savage motherfucker. Yeah.
Oh, just motherfucker
in media buying.
In media buying.
Okay.
Rated by everyone.
Forbes, Sports Illustrated.
No, it started actually. It started back around the time
Wired magazine.
Started working with Redline.
Redline.
Around that original time, we took him on and a couple others. That when that boom just happened, the accelerated spend level that I was doing. So we were talking with multiple different reps, and they're just like, we've never seen anything like this. And my team was on when that we were going through
the amount of just ramping up of the business,
and the team kind of just
ad spend,
and it started kind of just circulating from the people that were on the call. So I was like, well, I kind of like the sound of that. It's not a bad nickname.
The most savage motherfucker in the world.
No, in media buying, right?
In media buying.
Yeah, because I'm not going to be overly, like, I'm not trying to be obnoxious. It's a fact.
Like, it's a scientific fact. I'm the most savage motherfucker in media buying.
I wouldn't disagree.
That's sick. That's sick.
And the cool part is, like, you're so young.
Right. Like, I'm just getting started.
Media buying is just getting started.
Yeah.
It really is, actually. Yeah. If you think about our entire careers, like, didn't exist like 20 years ago.
Because that end, it's, because, people who don't know me are going to, like, might be getting a weird vibe. Like, it's a joke. Like, realistically,
it's not a joke at all. Ashton yesterday said, I will slit if someone tries to. If someone
you're bringing that up right now. I will slit.
If someone tries to,
you're really trying to bring that up right now.
I'm not gonna say for a while. I'm just gonna say if someone tries to go toe to toe with me on media buying, I will slit their throat and dance in their blood.
Dance in it.
By the way, this was in the Top Golf parking lot. We almost got kicked lot.
I thought this was facetious, and now that he's denying it, now it sounds way more real.
Yeah,
it is real.
It's
Ashton's like, I said that.
Listen, no. Well, my concern was no one in the car flinched. It was just me. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Everyone's like, yeah, it's just gonna dance in their blood. I'm like,
Viking stuff, dude. Yeah,
that's normal to the rest of you guys? Like, I mean, pretty cool.
Yeah. I love dancing in blood.
Cool.
That's like, and I pride myself, like, we talk about saving businesses, but I take that to heart, like, and to some part, there is a limit, right? There's a part that can become dangerous to where you think you're just like the savior complex, right? But I prided myself for so long on being the guy that someone could turn to when everything was bad and I could figure the problem out, right? So when it comes to competition, actually, there's a really cool story behind this, but I don't think they'd like me to share it. But it was just
you're saying the client wouldn't want you to share?
No, it was when I kind of like developed that dark energy, like no one's touching me kind of thing.
Messing with the dark arts.
Back when I was at Traffic Funnels, really, I had grown to be burnt out, and we were spending a lot of money, the amount of money I'd never spent before. Managing it by myself pretty much, this ad spend, and then we had team come in and I was trying to train them but also hit these insane goals because that's just Traffic and Funnels culture, man. Like, it's never stable. Like always grow, always push the next challenge. And that's what I loved about working there. Right. But anyway, we had reached a point where I was just not a good leader. I didn't think I was a really good trainer of media buyers at that point. And I just was burned out. I was so tired. I had just moved to Nashville. My family was still in Seattle. I was sleeping on an air mattress in our house for 2 weeks by myself. The movers lost our stuff, so it was like just in this house, right? While also trying to hit these goals and lead people that I've never done before. And I'd grown really tired, and they noticed, 100% noticed. And we had a conversation, and basically it got to the point where it was like, you know, do you think you could do it? Like, do you actually think you can do it, or are you like quitting kind of thing? And basically, long story short, it came to the point to where I was like, I don't know if I'm quitting or staying. But at that point, they had started bringing in agencies to compete because they're like, oh, Ashton's on his way out. You know, we got a plan for, you know, to cover. Mm-hmm. So when they brought those people in, I was like, in my head, I made that kind of commitment. I was like, I don't know if I'm quitting or if I'm staying, but there's no way in hell I'm leaving without being on top. And it just like flipped a switch in me. And they had brought in around 5 agencies after that from the biggest, best names at the time. The most well-known people. They brought them all in. And I turned into this angry just Terminator and was destroying them to the point where one of the times, like, Chris was like, hey, dude, because they started hiring interns at this point because, like, man, well, I guess Ashton's, like, fine again. They started hiring interns, and, like, they kept joining the competition. So I had, like, 3 agencies and, like, interns coming after me, right? And at some point, Chris was like, dude, you got to teach, like, these people what you're doing so that, like, they can produce. And I said, fuck no. I was literally like, is this a competition? Then no, I don't want to help them. And like I had to go through a lot of coaching then because that's not a good leader, right? Yeah. But I developed just that, like, man, no one's gonna like come after me.
But do you think if you had like a small team, like if you were if the competition was like within the company, like I'm even thinking of like ways to like gamify. That's so sick.
And it turned great once I started developing as the leader.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And that's what I've had to grow.
Because you can only do so much as on your own.
100%. And it's just, there's no value to that. Like, why just one person when you can get a whole team? And so it was a long process. And that's where I developed the phase method. Because I was forced to then try to figure out what I was doing subconsciously to train these people. And it took a long time. But I finally like did that, and that was the best way that I could tell people of like what I was doing subconsciously.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, you know, like if you're a media buyer, it's so hard to like start to try to train another media buyer if you've never done it, because you're like, they're like, why do you do that? I'm like, I don't know.
Because
like,
it makes sense.
I feel like I should. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because after a while, it's just all gut.
Yeah. No, I can relate on certain other things. Like once you have to like explain yourself, you like start to understand yourself better too.
100%.
Because when you still have to teach, it's like if 100%. You know, but once you teach it, you really know.
100%, dude.
Because you're justifying every single thing you're doing. Yep. And even sometimes second guessing the things you're doing. And you're like, I've actually never thought about why I'm doing it this way. Let's research this or 100%. Like ask around and see if there's better ways. And then you're like, Yeah,
you usually end up making it easier on yourself 100%. Too. Like,
yeah.
Well, then you get to see it and you just go like, you start to go, actually, it would be better if I did it this way. Like you just get that altitude, you know?
Yes.
And that's why I was like so grateful for Taylor and Chris, because they forced me to do that. And that's how I got, I think, really good at this stuff.
And when you surround yourself with like winners and people that are really pushing you too, like you're putting in the reps. Like that's the biggest thing I think too, that a lot of people starting off, they're like, how do I get better at this? It's like, bro, you got to just get the fuck in there and put in some 100%. Reps and just practice and fail and learn and like try, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was amazing. It was, go ahead, dude.
I was going to speak on that. As someone who has trained hundreds of people through online programs, I can attest, because I've gone back and like checked progress and like also know from being on calls with people like where they're at and things like that. And I think just the difference is that like most people always think it's easier than it is. Like most people across the board.
Yeah.
You know, like I see them and they're like, 4 weeks in, feeling a little hurt. 8 weeks in, feeling like it's hard. I'm like, this motherfucker just quit after 8 weeks.
Yeah, dude. 100%, dude.
Because you think they're just gonna buy like a few $100 program and kill it.
Were you at a 1.0 ROAS? What were you doing?
Did you lose all the money?
What? All right, that wasn't me.
So like, you know what I mean? It just puts it in perspective. Like, yeah, dude, you gotta like,
Yeah, man.
that's how the world is.
Yes.
At the end of the day, I put my head down for like 7 years prior to this date
Yep.
of doing this,
Yep.
like what I do.
Yeah.
And that's why even when people are older, and maybe even because they're older, their businesses do better.
Yeah.
I can still have a conversation and in like 20 minutes point out like 3 things that they can change in their business that if they actually went and did it would actually make a fucking massive impact.
And by the
every
way,
time.
that's not even what they're paying you to consult them
100%.
on. Like
yeah,
they're-
you talk about this a lot. So elaborate on this.
it's interesting because like when I first came into 4Media, like I would hear Eddie on these calls and he would be giving them like consulting advice on stuff that's like definitely outside of the scope of work of like what we were hired for.
Yeah.
But like I heard these things and I'm like, damn, like that was a really good like observation about their company. Like, you know, like you were talking about one particular company, you're like, they'd never even drawn out their entire business. That was the first thing I did. I sat down, I drew out their business.
You said that,
and I
yeah.
pointed out like 4 things that would have, you know, optimized like so many things.
We
And I'm
change
like, holy
everything.
shit. And it's like they were paying for us for content and they were getting like a restructuring of their whole business.
bro, they made 15 million last year, and just a note because we're not going to say the name, so we can say numbers. They made that. We drew this chart, and they changed 4 major decisions in their entire business that day, and they didn't flinch on it. Like think about what it takes as someone making that much money to make that kind of change that quickly. But now they're gonna make more money because of it.
Yeah.
It's incredible, man.
And most people just don't make the changes. to your
No one
point.
does.
Yeah.
No.
Like, unless they pay a lot of money for it.
And that's like that's almost like part of you know, I love masterminds, but not nearly for what I used to love them. Right now, I love them because I get to meet that one person, that like, oh, I just know that's going to be a really good friend or like a great potential, right? But like in the beginning, and this is the problem with a lot of new entrepreneurs, is it's just like information overload. And then they don't take a single action step, but they're always like, what's the next book I should read? What's the next mastermind I should go to? And I'm like, maybe you should just fucking work, you know? Just do that once, and then maybe take another step.
That was like
That was one of Braven's takeaways this weekend. It was like, I just realized I can just do it for longer.
Yes. Oh my God. Isn't that the thing of entrepreneurship? It's like, yeah, I'm just going to do the small things. That's literally every big successful. It's like, I focused on my sleep. I spent more time thinking. And it's like, in their like $5 billion company, right? And they're just like, I took more walks.
I walk 15 minutes a day and it changed my life. All right.
That's like their nugget.
We get that, but like what else? You know?
But like, give me that Facebook ad hack.
It's always funny the advice from people that are like way like 25 steps ahead of you versus the guy that's like 1 step ahead of you. The guy that's 1 step ahead of you is going to give you that like tangible thing. The guy that's like 25 steps ahead of you is going to give you like
Conceptual
advice that's
thinking.
not going to,
Which I actually like both of them.
Yeah,
actually.
no,
sometimes it's
it
fun
totally
to find
helps.
someone. Like I actually really enjoy trying to find people who are I feel are right ahead of me because they can kind of help you navigate like the step that you're on.
Exactly.
But then it's super valuable to find someone like, you know, we heard some people this weekend like who are just like way out there, like 14 exotic cars like out there. Like,
It was
you know,
11.
like
You're trying to go from like 10 to 25 employees.
Slow down, Braven. It was 11 supercars, not 14.
I think you had
And they're
14
not
cars,
exotics.
11
They're
supercars. Okay.
like Performante.
Anyways, but
like-
like to hear someone like that, to have both of those and like take the mindset and the big things into those little things is like, I think a powerful combination. I think you do need both. Like I think you have to have tactics, but you have to have a mindset to execute them too.
So true. So true.
Yeah. I mean, that was one thing, like Eddie and I actually, we met when we were in like a network marketing company back in the day.
You guys do Vima? You did.
No.
Come on. No, you didn't.
Vima, even
None of you
Phoenix, even
You guys met at an MLM conference?
They were actually the
What's Vima? Wow.
Vima.
You guys are like
was
3
the
years too young for
official-
Vima. That's why.
Vima Verve was their energy drink. The Verve was the official energy drink of the Phoenix Suns.
Oh wow, yeah, I
Yeah,
totally.
you
They had
did
the
know
Verve.
that?
They had
No,
the
I've heard
Verve
Verve.
Lounge.
Yeah,
They had the
I've
Verve Lounge and all that shit.
I've seen it. I honestly didn't even know what the heck it was.
You're
Yeah.
a basketball guy. Come on,
Yeah,
bro.
no.
So anyways, Eddie and I were in this MLM
Miami
company
fan.
together, and that was like I think one of the biggest things. I was guilty of it too in some instances, but like it was like go to the conference in Vegas, go to meet with your mentors, read this book, watch this video, blah blah blah, and like at the end of the day, to make money in that company, you gotta fucking talk to people.
Yep.
You know, like
I agree, but also just looking back at the age in my life that happened, 17 to 21, I needed to work on personally developing myself and
100%.
expanding my mind more than working hard.
And getting around.
you
that's
are right.
fine.
You are
Bigger
right
people,
about
too.
that.
That's
Just
fine
getting-
as
Yeah,
long
exactly.
as you're honest about it. As long as you're not saying, I'm scaling, I'm doing this.
Look, in fairness, I built a
Well, then,
450 person team in like 6 months. Like I went off, which in that case for the state of Georgia, we were.
Hey, he was
that
a
sounds like
actually.
you
One
were
other
working.
thing.
That doesn't sound
Yeah.
like you weren't doing anything.
I grinded. I would drive like 2.5 hours to
Yeah.
make an event to speak at
Yeah.
to drive back 2.5
Yeah.
hours.
The point was like everyone who just goes at mastermind after mastermind after mastermind,
Yeah.
book after book, and just don't do anything.
Yeah,
and
nothing
then
at all.
wonder, I'm going to another mastermind because I really want to figure out how to get to 10K. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I would
when I get
also,
there-
It's like, oops, dropped it. You know?
Yeah, I would also like to say too, like though,
Stupid,
for people
right?
who do like love like the coaching and the mentoring, like going into masterminds and stuff, like I almost had this weird false beliefs because I heard people having this conversation on podcasts before, like saying like, oh, those guys that just go to every mastermind, and like I've almost had those thoughts sometimes of like, oh, am I that guy? But like, be honest with yourself, like, are you putting in the work and going and implementing?
100%.
Like, I'm a geek to find like any little thing to improve the business, and so also don't mistake that for like don't learn, like don't read, don't like no, that's not what we're saying. We're saying do those things, but like if you're not implementing and you're still going, stop going for
You
a
need
minute.
both.
Like like chill out and do, but like you definitely like you have to have both. You have to learn and you have to implement.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, if you're going to say you're dieting over and over again while at the drive through McDonald's, at some point, let's just go, maybe we're not dieting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe
like,
we're not.
Babe, you hear that? That's us.
I consistently toss shade at you today, and I'm very sorry.
Guess what though? Andy's was founded in Springfield.
Yeah.
Crazy. If you haven't had
And the
Andy's,
Simpsons live there.
you haven't had
The
life.
Simpsons.
I haven't had
You
Andy's.
got Lambert.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, we'll go to Andy's tomorrow before your flight.
Is
You're
it
literally
like
missing
burgers,
nothing.
It's frozen custard.
Frozen custard. Actually, you are missing something.
can't
here,
have
buddy.
that.
But you
And then
can't have
you're
a
gonna
single
Oh,
take
cheat
Andy's
meal.
custard.
Yes.
Bro, I totally had it. They have it in Arizona.
Oh,
Dude,
okay.
fire the boot
Yeah.
daddy.
Yes.
You guys
the
must be
Boot
right.
Daddy.
Hey,
Yes.
table,
You've been to
you're
Andy's.
welcome.
Yeah, my wife.
Like
yeah,
I had something to do with it.
Yeah.
the boot daddy is
Andy's,
fire.
if your revenue spikes dramatically, you're welcome.
Yeah, you can sponsor me.
Like,
I'm the
what in the
guy-
world is
yeah, yeah.
happening? Every place has doubled in
I'm
revenue.
the guy
Like,
driving
the boot
through your
daddy is
drive-thru
selling out
The
everywhere.
boot. We have no more fudge.
Hey, Andy's, if you're the one in Springfield, I'm the one with really squeaky brakes. Really squeaky brakes.
That's too funny.
Yeah,
Well,
this is good.
I think it's time to rest. What do you guys think?
I don't know, dude. If you want to rest, like whatever. I mean, if you ran out of things to say.
Well, no. What was it? What happened this weekend? That was like the same scenario. Like if you want to be a bitch and do that. You know,
I think it was probably someone with the gym.
Was it?
This wasn't
Skipping the
this
gym?
morning. It was like, you were like, do we do this? And I was like, yeah, if you're a bitch.
Was it? I don't know why I feel like it was towards Braven for some reason. Like I can't remember what it was.
We were probably making fun of
Yeah.
him or something. I don't know.
like we always do when he's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Good friends.
What's Braven doing? Probably running.
Braven's doing 75 hard, so
Yeah.
That's
so he's
why you
quite
couldn't have
literally
constant.
running. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
It gets worse. Like a week ago, he posted it, and I was like, we're traveling in a week. Maybe push it a week. He's like, can't, bro, committed. Got a group going. I'm like, is he serious? Like, there's actually.
So you had to do one workout outside and one inside.
Yeah.
Damn.
And
it was
There's not
hot,
really like a work. There's not
and
really
we were
a gym.
up late, and like we would go to bed at like midnight, and we're like, you haven't worked out yet, have you? And then he's up by 6 the next morning because he got to work out before the session starts.
I knocked on the wrong guy's door. I thought I was waking up Braven.
Hello.
That's how he sounded.
Hello.
I'm like, Braven? He's like, no. I'm like, so sorry, sir.
The funniest part is he was on the wrong floor.
Yeah. Not the right floor.
I went
my
downstairs and then accidentally went back to my own floor and I knocked on my neighbor's door instead of Braven's, who was one floor right under that room.
Oh no, that's funny.
No,
Yeah,
but
this
I mean,
man was running at like 1
if you
a.m.
if you haven't done 74-hour like hard, honestly, like I would recommend it though. Like I'm only like I think today's day 6, but like I'm not even doing it for a fitness perspective. It's literally like, and that was why when you said like, dude, wait a week, I was kind of like, you know what, like I'm not gonna wait a week because it's it is just mental toughness. And like I look at someone like The Rock, and like dude, the man is 10 times more busy than I'll probably ever be in my life. And he finds a way to work out every day, everywhere he goes, flying around the world, no matter what.
To be fair,
he gets it in.
he's like, I'm going to Hawaii.
I know.
I shall move a Lifetime Fitness
They build
into a
he's
tent.
like,
I know.
servant
That
boy,
is a heated
build
and
me a
warm.
gym.
But if that's my excuse that I can't build a gym anywhere I go, then like I'm never gonna build a gym.
No, I don't disagree.
He fires back.
I don't
though.
disagree. I'm just saying
that.
The Rock is an extreme
He has a lot
example.
of.
I got it.
The
My
Rock
po-
has ways to do it, but
he figures
you're-
it out.
Yeah,
dude, the dude
for sure.
flies a freaking gym everywhere he goes. Like that's
Raven's
very
like, I'll
out.
drop down.
Like,
and do
that's
push-ups.
crazy.
Like I had to go outside and jog like instead of lift. Like
Yeah, you're right. No, and to be fair, like the starting it like 10 days earlier or whatever, it's kind of like not going on a trip because not all the lights are green. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna hit some red lights no matter what. Like you might as well just fucking start.
and just my life's
Speaking of,
every
you
day,
guys
there's
read
something, so.
Green Lights by
Fair
Matthew
enough.
McConaughey?
I haven't. Has anyone?
No.
It's good.
Really?
What is
Matthew
it?
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
He's my
Green
boy,
Lights.
but
It's a movie?
He wrote a book.
A book.
A autobiography, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet it's like
because
super
he journaled. Like,
inspirational.
He's poetic. He's
Yeah.
intelligent, dude.
Yeah.
I like gained so much respect for him.
Yeah.
Dude, Matthew, if you're listening to this,
somehow
hit me up. But like the dude was so
man.
intelligent and philosophical. It was really great.
Yeah, he's
Really great. Definitely.
I feel like every time I watch his Instagram, I feel like he's saying nothing. He's literally is always like,
He's always
like,
he's an idiot.
dude, he's like, if you think about it, the world still turns, but people on the other side are waking up while we're going to sleep. It's like, yeah, we've all thought of that. That's how I feel every time I watch his Instagram, bro. I feel like he's never saying anything real.
Matthew's never calling me now.
No, that
He's just
car's
rolling
gone.
that booger in his finger, and he's like, "Roses are red, violets are blue."
I hope everyone watches instead of just like
I know, please
listen
watch
so
the
you can
video.
watch Andrew
It's-
right now. Like
It's
he's literally anyways. So much better on video.
Sorry, Matthew. I know you're watching this, but also stop whistling every time you say an S, like Herbert the pervert.
Come on,
It's
man.
like, yes, roses are red.
That's not even close. That's not even close.
No, that was Herbert the pervert.
Oh no, but that's not Matthew McConaughey.
He
No,
whistles when he says his S's, though.
Yo,
Yes, he does,
and Matthew's a
Stop doing
Longhorns
it.
fan. I love that.
You're what?
He's a Longhorns fan.
He's like a part.
Are you
No,
a
dude,
Texas
I
Longhorns?
have-
He's a professor
Yeah.
at the University
No, like-
of Texas.
Why are you a Longhorns
impressive.
fan?
I was born in Texas.
Oh.
Yeah, Carrollton, Texas. Dallas.
Why
Do
aren't
we
you a
need
Mizzou
Ashton's
fan?
backstory?
I love Texas. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally
he
up to
kind of
you.
gave it, right? Or was there more back than that?
Huh?
Yeah, is there more
He's like,
back
well, when I
than the back
first saw
that
the
you gave
light
us?
of day.
What?
Like
Is there more backstory to you than what you've shared that you'd want to share that kind of explains why you're the most savage?
Oh, dang, dude. You're really
Media
trying
man
to get
again.
in there. That's almost sociopathic of a question.
What?
Real recognize real, you know what I'm saying? No, dude, I think
It was like I just asking you about your childhood.
no, I know what it is. He's like Oprah
He's like,
Winfrey
"Well,"
up here. He's like, I'm gonna get the good shot.
We need headlines.
No, I
what
think
makes you the most savage?
No, I think what he's referring is, most people, I have a background too of childhood had its ups and downs. I think in a lot of ways I was very, very fortunate, and in a lot of ways I went through stuff that other people go through, and it definitely developed me. And just like what happened to me happened to them, and I think there's just a background of that stuff of tough things to see or witness as a kid. And I think that's about it. I think that's what you're trying to get to.
And you don't have to share. I think really the reason I ask is like, I think even myself, like it's easy to look at someone and be like, oh, well, like if I was in their circumstances, I would have been able to make that happen. And that happens to me all the time. Like everyone thinks that like, oh, well, his dad, like I would have too, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, but they don't know my story. They don't know who I am. So it's like the reason I think I'm willing to share is because like, not to be like pat my ego of like, oh wow, like you've come through so much. Like I actually, it doesn't feel that way on my end, but the reason I share is so that like people don't just discount themselves and like give the excuse of like, oh, if I had his circumstances, I would have made it. That's why I feel like it's valuable sometimes to share that. Cause it's like, I want to give someone the opportunity to bet on themselves and not discount themselves by putting their excuses on me and the opportunities I have.
I mean, the weird side is like, and maybe it kind of reflects almost my upbringing a little bit, but like the weird side of me though is that like if you are literally at home and my encouragement is what's going to help you keep going, you're probably not cut out for entrepreneurship. Can I say that? Is that allowed to say?
Dance in their blood.
Like, wow. I'm sorry, dude, but
Is there a bomb drop sound over there, Terry?
I'm sorry, but like, I don't even know what that is.
That's
That's crickets.
Oh, it's
No, but that wasn't. Yeah, there we go.
The magical wonder of you're probably not cut out for this. No, but like legit, like if you know me, then that's one thing. If you know what I've gone through or we're friends, that's one thing. Let me be an encouragement to you. I'd love that. But if you don't know me, but you're counting on someone like me to encourage you to push you forward, like, dude, entrepreneurship is not easy. At some point, you have to be your own fucking motivation. To go through what your dad went through?
Yeah.
Are you kidding
No, that's another level.
Yeah.
To go through that and come back and go, I'm going to pay it all back. You also had the other part that you left out that like he was like, don't even worry about those people. We're staying focused on us. And like that's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So like if you need my thing to go, keep pushing through, it's going to get better. It's probably not. Statistically, you are probably not going to succeed. You will fail. So you might as well stop while you're ahead. But it's the real entrepreneurs. Those are the ones that like, it doesn't matter what I fucking say. In fact, you will fail. And that fires them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry, do you remember the stat that we heard about how many entrepreneurs kill themselves? It was it was like a stupid number. Like
Really?
Like 1 out of 5 high. Like
Wow.
like some stupid number, guys. Some stupid number. Not like 1 out of 50.
Well, there's a lot of business owners I don't think are entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would say I'm not trying to downplay that stat you just put out, but like I would say it's in a real entrepreneur to literally like never give in. And I get that there's more to that conversation than just not quitting or whatever, but like that is the spirit of an entrepreneur is like no matter what, like we can literally lose everything time and time again and just like keep coming back bigger and better every single time, because that's just inside.
Yeah.
Or you've developed it inside somehow, or things have.
I even say it to my wife and my business partner. I say, If we lose everything,
Yeah.
we're okay.
No, yeah.
I'll figure it out. Give me 30 days.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
it. Give me 1 month.
matter.
Yeah.
I will scrap something together.
100%.
What?
And if you don't feel that way, honestly, if you don't feel that way in your life where you're like, I could lose everything and like within a few like phone calls and like things like work something out that like where you'd be literally more than fine, you should really figure that out. Like
100%.
like you need to get to that place.
Your
where you
skills
feel
are
that.
not high enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to get higher.
Yeah. your
Go figure it
skills.
out, dude. It's YouTube.
Yeah.
When I was like, before I ever even started in marketing and entrepreneurship, like when I was working at Flash Tech, but just like packing boxes, I worked with cell phone parts all the time. And I was like, man, we were really poor, right? I got married at 18, like just really not good. But like, I was like, I want some way to treat my wife that I just married, because I felt that like as a husband, I'm like, I want to give her a better life than I had. You know, part of the background was like, my father, who was an entrepreneur, a chiropractor, started his practice, had like multiple different practices. They crashed. And in 2008, when Obamacare really started kicking in, it crashes chiropractic. He lost everything. And my dad, who was college 12 years, learned chiropractic in Italy itself, was chiropractor of the year, professor of a chiropractic college. He's a truck driver now.
Wow.
And like seeing that growing up. But anyway, the whole thing on
Did that like, just before you go on, like, did that create one maybe false beliefs for you about being entrepreneur, but also like your wife? Like, I know when I first married my wife, like she, you know, I'm super blessed. She has a lot of faith and belief in me, but especially at the beginning, she had a dad that wasn't necessarily like the greatest as like a businessman, like watching him. And so I think she had some of that belief in me, or fear of like, are you gonna like just struggle in this entrepreneur thing our whole marriage, and like this is gonna suck? So like I'm just curious if your wife felt that, if you felt that.
Dude, my wife, dude, she's insane. Like, she's incredible. She never was like that. But for me, it was more of a thing to me that she came up pretty decent. Her family did well. Then her family got a divorce, and that radically changed their lives. But I remember seeing her and them in the house they lived in and stuff like that. And I remember when we were just broke as nothing, I was like, I refused to bring her to this life that I knew well. I was fine. Like, I know what it's like to go a couple days without eating. I know what it's like for the power to get turned off. Like, I'm fine, but I refused to allow her to experience that, right? And so because of cell phone parts, I like literally YouTubed and figured out how to repair cell phones and change the screens and repair computers. And that was my side hustle that I would start to like get us an extra $20 so that we could go to like a dinner at Applebee's, right? Like, my wife and I would literally donate plasma every week, and if you did it 3 weeks in a row, you got an extra $50 so that I could take her to hibachi, you know, like to try to find those things. I remember one of the times we were at rock bottom. I actually screenshotted it, which was kind of cool because I think that maybe started some of my journey. But like, we were negative $85 in the bank account. Rent was coming out the next day. I had nothing. And I remembered, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to make enough to pay for rent. But I'm going to, oh, wow, holy crap. So I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to pay rent. But I'm going to get a cell phone. I repaired a cell phone for enough to take her to the movies. Because I was like, I want her to forget about it. We came out of the movie theater that night, and our car was broken into.
Man.
Wow.
I'd never hit a new low. But I took a screenshot of my bank account because I was like, this is never happening again. Yeah.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah. But she never doubted me.
Yeah.
She was literally the one that told me to, like, when we were in Seattle and Verizon, and I was telling her about, like, maybe I could figure this out. Like, if I work hard enough, I can figure anything out. And she was like, you should get that course and put it on the credit card. And like, we hadn't have anything. So it's like she's a saint. I'm the one, if anything, that was.
I mean, like
scared.
that's that to me. That's like an entrepreneur. Like I remember like similar, not like maybe not to that extent, but like literally feeling like, okay, I have $20. There was this one time like I had $20 and I was like, I don't have gas in my truck. So it was like $5 of gas and then like $15 for us to like go like get dinner at like freaking Chipotle. And I was like, but I didn't want my like wife to know at all that like something was, you know, that I was like hard. But I think that like is the entrepreneur. It's like in that moment rather than like, I feel like a lot of people that I see, it's like a victim of like, oh, like life is terrible, that you were like, this will never happen again. Like I will do something to make sure this never happens again. And yeah, that's powerful. And also like, I just want to say about my wife, like I kind of like maybe paint her in a bad picture. She's mad supportive me through like everything.
No, I didn't get that.
No,
yeah. Okay. Good.
I got a good picture of your wife.
Okay. Good. Like I would literally like be like crying
close.
and I like, I don't know if I'm ever going to figure this out. And she'd be like, babe, you're just going to freaking kill it. So like, she's amazing. But I think
that's like super important.
So
my wife's like that too.
No, you have to have
my
that.
wife sacrificed her car that she wanted to allow me to spend a day with someone else.
Man. Sick.
huge, man.
Whoa.
Oh, for you to go see Billy?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Like,
awesome.
like,
Damn.
whoa.
That's why you want that pop. You know that?
She this is gonna be a running joke until she gets the car. And when she gets it, it's still gonna be a joke.
It's
There's
still
going to
gonna
be
be a
more
thing.
pop, pop,
Does
pop.
your car go pop, pop, pop? But yeah, really think about that sacrifice, how unselfish you have to be to give someone else a day and take away like 2 years of something that you wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just in like
Yeah,
with
yeah,
no
yeah.
guarantee of anything other than the fact they believe you believe it's important enough, and therefore I trust you.
They believe that you will do much more with this than what the car
Can
could
I also
be.
say some here on the like the spouse thing?
No.
Think this is a marriage podcast?
I have some friends like that are either trying to be entrepreneurial or entrepreneurial or whatever the word is or whatever. And I've had some of them express that to me of like, my wife doesn't support me or my girlfriend doesn't support me or whatever. And I'm like, honestly, you don't know the reason your wife or girlfriend doesn't support you? It's like literally because you do nothing. You talk about all of these ideas.
Yeah.
You give your wife a new idea every 3 hours and you've never executed one.
Yeah.
Stop telling her the ideas.
Yep.
Do something. And as you do, like even if it doesn't even work, as you execute an idea that you said and you do it again and you do it again, all of a sudden your wife, your family, like the people around you actually start to believe the things you said.
No, even better. They start to contribute by giving you better ideas.
Yeah.
You know what I
100%.
mean? That collaborative effort, when that changes, everything goes.
Like I remember when I was first like trying to figure this all out, like I would say these things, like even like to my dad, like, oh, we're gonna blow up, like, oh, we're gonna do this revenue number, and he would like laugh because I was doing that every week. I was just like immature kid being like, oh, we're gonna blow up, blah blah blah. And then like I got to this point where I was so frustrated. Why does no one ever believe me? It was like, oh, they don't believe me because I don't do it.
Yeah.
So I stopped telling them, and then it was like I started doing it, and now if I say it, most people are like, oh, I want to jump on board.
Yeah.
Like I want to get on that train because everything up to this point that he said, he's done. So do the things you say you're going to do and you'll be happier. And people will actually start to trust you.
Dude, and that's how you do anything is how you do everything. Like that translates to so many different things. Like I'm thinking about just a small example in our business. Like you're putting something on the calendar and then like you're the one that's late or like you're the one that's not even following through, or you put like a recurring event and it never happens.
We make it pretty clear as a team though.
Yeah.
We're like homie.
No, exactly. And it's like the one person that's like, dude, like no one's showing up to your thing or like respect. Like if you're messaging in the group chat with everybody and you didn't like think about how it would like contribute to the whole group, or you're having to like, change things or whatever. It's like the boy who cried wolf. It's like you gotta really think about what your goals are, what you're going to say, or how you're going to portray yourself, and then actually follow through on that, or no one's ever going to respect you or trust you or believe in you for anything.
I've been ruthless about meetings and meeting times recently because I've been thinking about it on a scale of hours, total hours.
Yep.
And it's changed the game.
100%.
Like I get fucking pissed off.
It's so much time.
I get pissed off if you set up a meeting with 7 people.
Yep.
That can all contribute and need to be here for 15 minutes and you showed up 6 minutes late.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to rip your throat out because that's an hour and a half of
Not just your time.
of highly skilled.
Everyone's time.
It's an hour and a half. Those 6 minutes.
That's only 6
are
minutes.
an hour and a half.
Not even considering that everyone had to get up, leave their projects. When they go back to their projects, there's a few minutes of them having to sit there and get back into it, put their headphones back in, and open their tabs back up. Like, it's a big waste of time.
Yeah, we're actually trying to implement a potential like 3-hour window that's like silent mode from like 10 to 1, where like you have an hour to set up your day, and you have 3 hours of like task work.
Yeah.
Like you don't talk. No one.
Knock out your shit.
No client calls.
that'd be
No calls with each other. No chatting. This is like guaranteed. We check the boxes today. If you need to collaborate and be creative, you got 5 more hours at the end of the day. But for these 3, this is what we're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
I like that a
Bro,
lot.
it'll make us super.
We should try to at least do that a few times a week, if not every single
every
day.
day. It should be every day.
Yeah, for sure.
Every day, dude. Do you know how much I guarantee? Watch case study. A month from now, I'll tell you guys what happens.
Well, dude, I love
we're
hearing
outputting
that
twice as
stuff.
much.
Yeah, I love hearing that stuff. Like I hear people doing like no call days, like days where there's just no client calls, no team calls. Like it's just get work done. But like in the spirit of like continued tactical knowledge on the podcast, like I loved what you said about what you do in meetings is if someone doesn't contribute 3 meetings in a row, they're no longer welcome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
There's so many
honestly,
times
I
on
just
calls.
remove them from the calendar.
Yeah,
without
you're
saying
just
anything.
like gone. If you're not contributing, like you don't need to be here. Clearly, go do something else. I love that.
Yeah, I'd say we've restructured our meetings this year like
Drastically.
5
lot of times.
Probably like 5 or 6 major times, right? Like major changes.
And we've moved so much, like even right now, tonight, before this podcast, Terry and I were restructuring stuff in our Google Drive, just like of how we're working holistically as a team across all of our teams so that we can, and we've already done that like twice this year. Like this is like the 3rd time of us like
Keep breaking the
optimizing
machine.
this.
Yeah.
no,
Exactly.
no.
You guys are growing so much.
We break it before we break it intentionally as a team.
We're like,
So,
we can
let me
see
give
the
you an
writing on the
example.
wall.
Today, at the end of the day, in our mastermind, we were going through a software, Monday.com, and the Dropbox links were hosted in there. Everyone on my team can tell you why that's a horrible idea. Everyone. And we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So like the way his drive is set up, we found 5 ways to completely find out why that's the worst idea ever. And that's why they spent no, seriously. And then we met as a department.
Well, I want to know what the good idea is. We don't have to do it here because that's super technical. But
No, it's nothing crazy. It's just simple things like there's no way to stop people from being able to delete that and being permanently lost forever and archived. Small example, but like the entire company.
Because you don't have to delete the whole item. You could just click X on that link and then it's like not even linked anymore.
And when you don't have like a truth in your company, like what is the truth?
Yep.
Then everything
one
gets
place
lost.
to find
right?
it, yeah.
When you do it there and you risk that things can be deleted randomly and moved with one accidental click, that's it. That's all it takes from anyone in your company. Then you realize like this can't be the truth.
Yeah.
So you have to move the truth. So we met as a team. We restructured the entire company's Monday boards or kept the ones that worked. And then we restructured our entire Google Drive from the first folder to the 20th folder.
Yeah.
And everyone in the company now knows if they want anything from any client, they should know within 4 clicks what folder to get to.
100%.
4 clicks.
100%.
That's it.
And I think a lot of businesses, especially younger ones that's scaling fast, have the overwhelming tendency to overcomplicate all systems because we try to solve for any problem rather than like as a business owner now, if there's a problem, I want it to be so blatantly obvious. Like I don't want to try to solve for every issue because small holes sink big ships, right?
Yeah.
So if there is a hole on my ship, I want to know. I don't want it to be masked over because I've added so much complexity to the process that like now it's an even bigger mess.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I think where most young companies mess up is when it's slow, which everyone has slow times. I don't care who you are. Like you could be upwards trajectory quarterly every quarter, but like you have bad months. When they're down, they don't use that time wisely and like optimize the business.
100%.
Whereas for us, we intentionally give ourselves downtime by putting people on wait lists and
100%.
pushing out start dates intentionally.
Yep.
So that we can continue to optimize faster
100%.
internally. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like our process 6 months ago and our company and our vision and our operation size and our team-wide understanding and our level of talent
Yep.
were probably what, like, if we took the company as an individual,
Yep.
would be like 5 years,
Yep.
if not 6, of an individual working hard as fuck on themselves.
100%.
You get 'em- that's the level of change in
Yep.
6 months,
Yep.
because now we have 50 people
Yep.
that are all on the same page
100%.
for like the first time, I think, to this
Yep.
extent. This
Yeah,
time
and
we've trimmed fat essentially recently.
It's not sexy to do that. Like, it's not sexy to work on the operations, but like it's when you, I mean, this happened to us. Like, we hyper scaled, like, you know, we grew like 800% in a couple months. And then everything started to break, and it was like trying to figure it out in that place is not what you want to be doing. I also believe like you got to like go, like you can't be worried, like think about every problem that might come up in the future. Like you got to go, but like taking time to work on the operations is so crucial because if you don't, like, there's a lot bigger problems you're gonna have to deal with, and you're gonna be in a lot worse circumstance when you're trying to figure out those problems. Like,
Yeah, like we like even in media buying, like the principle we have in our teams is you're either at war or you're fortifying. And they have to determine what status they're in, right? Are you in a scaling season where it's war?
I like that.
But then when it's not and it's stabilized, it's optimized campaigns, it's like you better be filling your vaults with copy. You better be filling your vaults with new creative, new angles, new positionings, new hooks, because pretty soon here you're going to have to go to war again. You better be ready. And it's the same thing.
It's a good way to look at it. I'd say continuously until you build a team big enough where half of it is at war and half of it is fortifying at all times.
Exactly.
That's when.
Yeah. But in ad accounts, it's a little harder because you can't just have 3 people in one ad account. It's very difficult.
No, I agree, but you could have someone in the ad account and someone making them images and someone making them videos.
Actually, so, okay. Oh, shoot. I didn't want to share this. Actually, you know what, right? In spirit of abundance, the best thing that we've done at Hemon Media, what's allowed us to become amazing, is we quite literally created a role called the ad man. And the ad man's role is to do consistent market research. So every week they have to come up with 5 headlines that are relevant to the market, list any new trendy events that have happened, and then they grade and record the data from the creative tests. So their job is quite literally like the caddy to the media buyer, but they're the conduit to the copy team and the creative team. And their job is purely to make sure the vaults are filled at all times and to report new trends to the copywriters.
Would you say like a project manager?
We wanted it different because the project manager was more like, is the box checked? We wanted this person to be a pure connoisseur marketer that could understand what we were needing to allow, like, the biggest problem that media buyers have is they're either too far in the weeds, right? And then they never get creative. There's so much of like, I got to try this audience, trade this audience. And it's like, no, dude, your hook just sucks.
Yeah.
Ad sucks.
Right? Like the ad just sucks. And so this person's job is to make sure that part is there so that the media buyer doesn't have to consistently try to get altitude. They can just stay in the weeds and continue what they're needing. It's been so helpful for us.
You should have a meeting with your team on Monday and say, I think your ads suck, and see where it goes.
Who, my team?
Yeah, I think it'll.
I know how they would respond.
I'm
I've
dead
trained them
serious.
well.
I think it'll go well.
I know how it would go. I've trained them very well. They would say, fuck you. That's how they're trained to think. My team, and like that's why I love Hemon X, because it's the whole idea is it's that X factor that is Hemon. That's what we're doing for other in-house teams.
Elaborate on that.
So
Hemon X.
So
what is
Hemon,
this?
so yeah, you're right. Sorry.
What is this? Is this the X-Men of marketing? What is this?
He-Man.
He-Man. Yeah. I always think of Joanna Man. You know what I mean? Has that movie been canceled yet? Have we done that as a society
I don't even
yet?
know what that is.
What
I've
the
heard of it.
fuck
Joanna
is
Man?
Ashton
It's a
talking
dude.
about?
It's a dude who played in the. It's a movie. It's a dude who played in the NBA who was a male. I think he got injured or something, or no, he was kicked out of the NBA because bad behavior. So he dresses up as a woman and joins the WNBA.
Oh my god!
And it's like
This
the
is real?
one dude that's slamming on girls, dude. So I was like, have we
amazing.
canceled that movie yet?
I don't think we have.
On Rotten Tomatoes, and it deserves so much more.
Wait,
does
what
it
on
have?
Rotten Tomatoes?
10%.
Oh,
It's
my.
very
10%.
bad. It's
It's
not
not.
a good. It's not a
It's
well-made
bad.
movie.
Jeez.
That's
Ouch.
canceled.
It's not a
What's
well-made
it called?
movie.
What's it called?
Joanna
It
Man.
came out in 2002.
Yeah,
2002.
Sounds terrible.
Great movie. I don't know how you guys have
By the way, this camera ran out of SD card, so we've
All
got
good.
we've only got the wide angle and that angle right now.
All
So
good.
sorry to.
If he's gonna explain, why don't I take that SD card and put it in this camera?
Well, I have another one, but I just got to go outside. I just didn't know how much longer we were planning on
We
going.
can wrap it up.
That's what I was saying. I feel like we're wrapping
Yeah.
things up. But anyways, continue what you were saying about Hemon X.
Yeah, so we've developed a reputation at Hemon for the quality of advertising services that we do. I'd say we really pride ourselves in consumer psychology and really understanding marketing on like a very deep level. So what we realized, though, what I realized is that quite adequately or like understandably, business owners oftentimes prefer not to go the agency route because either one, they've been burned so many times because just the quality of agencies out there is terrible.
One guy complained this weekend that he got burned by 2 agencies.
Oh, I'm like, you're
and me
lucky.
and Ashton laughed. We're
Yeah.
like, only 2.
Yeah, dude. Like the
Oh,
average,
real.
honestly, the average is probably 4 to 6.
Yep.
For
You know?
sure. That's the range.
4 to 6 is probably the average of people getting burned. So like the CEOs don't want an agency because they've been burned, or like if I was a CEO, I'd be like, I want to own the asset.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to not either for, I guess even for some exit things that actually you get a higher valuation if an agency's run it. But like if I was a CEO and I'm trying to build something big, I want my people committed all times to my company. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and I understand it. And so really what Hemon X is the ability for me and my team. I've spent $100 million+ on advertising in my career for some really great brands, and I've learned in almost every industry and niche. And it was our chance of Hemon X is a program where we can come in to a company that has an in-house team and train them, and then impart all the processes that we do to grade our marketers and really make your media buyers more than button pushers. That's just what these courses are teaching media buyers to be, is just a media bar. How to duplicate, how to scale. And now you have these, when a company is having a problem, you have the media buyers doing what? Searching a Facebook group for the latest hack. Right? They're like, oh man, I don't know how to get good results. Let me go check ad leaks and see if there's a latest strategy. Like they're looking for that. And I'm like, how about you get to know your market better? How about we can change you into an actual marketer, not a media buyer? But then the other side of it was like, I noticed companies put so much attention towards their sales staff, high ticket closers. That's what I need, right? I'm going to invest $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month into a high ticket closer. And I'm like, what is the source of all that waterfall? It is coming for your media buyer team who makes $50K a year, and you're expecting him to produce all the quality for the company. And so I was like, we've got to also train media buyers how to be high performers. So like my team, they do daily scorecards on their energy, clarity, productivity, so that we can get an understanding of how they are. They do end of day reports every single day. We watch their water intake. We know what they're reading and their information diets. Like they are high performing people. Therefore, they're a high-performing media buyer, right? And in all companies, that's it. It's like with Eddie and I, right? Like, dude, like, yeah, we know marketing, but at the end of the day, dude, our company is our team. Like, that is it.
I always say that.
It's our company.
I
Yeah,
always
our
give
company
credit
is
to the
our
team.
team. And it's like,
But
they
don't
have
get
to
me
be
wrong.
Don't get me wrong. Like, if I was not there, not a
everyone-
penny more would enter the business. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like, I think a lot of people in the company, if not all, know Eddie's like not
Yeah, yeah.
removed from like
Yeah.
if I went toe to toe on a headline with
Listen,
someone,
Yeah.
I'm getting the bets.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all I'm saying. You're
You're not that guy, pal.
Statistically
Listen, not that
speaking.
guy. You know what I mean?
Not that guy.
But like, so Hemon X was
Trust
just
me.
our chance to like not only come in and like
Yeah, it's a
change
sick
your
idea.
media buyers from button pushers to actual marketers, but to then high performing employees, because they are for most companies, the largest profit source. They think it's the sales app, but it's like that's producing the leads, right? And so it's an 8-week program. We come in, we give them through a gauntlet, we certify them in what we call MAD, like Mad Men, you know what I mean? But it's mindset, ads, and data. That's what we certify them. They take exams, very intense. And then we spend the next 30 days integrating them into their day-to-day. And then we teach, this is the cool part that I love, is like we teach the CMO or the marketing manager, whoever is going to be managing them, how to continue the processes and the regulation that we've just instilled inside of them. So I'm really excited, dude. It's like I'm a kid in the candy store right now.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, this is you like getting an impact on the marketing space.
Yes.
You know, from an educational standpoint.
100%.
Powerful.
Yeah, and most agencies aren't willing to do it.
Yeah.
Because I've had internal, worked with a lot of agencies both, and like a lot of times I would go to an agency and I'd be like, hey, like I kind of want you to like teach us like how to improve our systems of what we're doing, and they'd be like, yeah, no. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's like,
We're not going to give away our sauce, our
Yeah.
secret sauce.
Yeah, which most of them don't have a secret sauce, but
No, they don't. That's why they're not
They're
willing
like,
to tell you
we're
any
not going to
secrets, 'cause
teach
they're
you
not
that we
secrets.
literally just do CBO campaigns and hope they
Let her
work.
rip, Jim.
Yeah. Which I've
Broad, baby,
literally
broad.
had agencies
Broad.
do that. Like, it actually works better this way.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that meme, Andrew? You've seen it?
Beat up on the desk. This other guy's like, if I move this to this and I duplicate the top 1%, 10 seconds or more viewers, then I might increase my CTR by 25%.
And then it's just a douchebag Johnny Bravo.
Let her rip, broad targeting.
He's just cashing out.
Bullshit.
That's amazing. That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's funny how the world works. Psychology, man, in the marketing space. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like I told everyone I had to talk on this subject, and I told everyone at the end of the day, when we only had billboards and mailers as data, which wasn't really data,
Yeah.
people were winning big.
Yeah, man.
And that's
Totally.
because
If we could
they
do
were
the
good at
same thing,
marketing.
We're
Like,
with our
spoiled right
targeting,
now, actually.
Yeah, we're
We are
spoiled.
spoiled.
we actually get an immediate return on ad spend.
Even
What
if we have to use
the
Hyros.
fuck?
Oh, yeah.
Even when people scale through TV, let's say Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
They would run the ad. They would spend tens of millions of dollars. And they would
Yikes.
hope to God in the next 9 fucking months,
Yeah.
someone bought a Coca-Cola from a grocery store. Like, what the absolute
dude,
fuck?
Yeah.
Think about it back in the day.
Yeah, there's
though,
no
like,
CTA. There's no like,
you think about it, even though it was like before the billboards, before all of that, like the Rockefeller ages, where like for a family to get money, they had to put their family name on a bank loan. And it's like if they didn't pay back the loan, that family's name would never get another loan.
They're reintroducing
ever,
that in
right?
China, I heard.
I don't doubt it. I
Multi-generational
don't
loans.
doubt it.
Yeah.
Stop.
Because-
Dead ass.
and do you know why?
You can make your kid, like your
What?
kid can, you and your kid can joint mortgage or
Do you know
some
why?
shit.
Yeah,
Because
so
your
that when
one
you
bedroom
die,
apartment costs $10 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
You're
anyway,
literally able to leverage your kid's
Yeah.
credit. Your kid that's sometimes even unborn.
yeah.
Crazy.
It's nuts. It actually
but
is
doesn't that
happening.
mean your debt carries over to the
Yes.
To your
Yep.
kid. Yes.
yeah, L, right?
They go multi-generational, yeah. But
Well, I mean, maybe you can pay it off before, but
Like, imagine your dad, like, something happened and he had like $8.2 million of debt. You had no
and
fucking
you're
clue
on the
about.
hook for it.
Yep.
And good
you imagine that?
life ruined.
Like, I didn't even ask to be born, let alone have $8.2 million of that debt.
Relax.
Huh?
well, you
That's
think about it though,
hilarious.
like, you know, back to the Rockefeller time, like these are people who would take out a loan for something like that. Get a boat, ship it, wait 10 months to find out the boat sank to the bottom of the sea.
Fuck.
For a mailer, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it was to sell goods to another country. And we're just like top tier countries, Netherlands, Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, you know what I mean? Like,
Click. It's actually nuts.
Just men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
and if like an hour later you don't like it, Pause.
Do you guys know how behind radio is right now from like giving you
Actually
data?
insane.
I just had a sales call with the #1 Hispanic radio station in Georgia, which is like a big deal. They own #1 and 2. Like how big they are.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I forgot how
Large
many,
Hispanic population in Georgia.
like large. I forgot how many monthly listeners they had, but it's a stupid number, right? Like 4.5 million or something like that.
And
You get what I'm
I would bet actually that the Hispanic market listens to the radio more than any other market.
Oh, hands down, no question. Yeah, it's like an actual radio station that's busy. So, I kept asking them, like, okay, like, can you tell me like, what's the demographic that watches? Like, is it
Spanish
like
speaking.
this many? you think
People that like Spanish music.
like
Yeah,
people
that's
who
what you
like
need.
Spanish music and that's pretty much. I'm like, okay,
Makes sense.
they're
Checks
like,
out.
These zip codes listen the most. I'm like, obviously they're Hispanic. Like, what else can you tell me? You know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, I understand. I was like, can you tell me the listening times between 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9, and 9 and 10 in the morning versus 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7
Yeah.
in the afternoon. I just want to know like each hour
yeah.
on average. On
Yeah.
average, dude. I don't care what day.
I want
Just
to
give me
day part this thing. You know what I'm
fucking
saying?
average. I don't even care what day it's
Yeah,
on.
like when are your spikes?
Yeah. Come on. Not
Nothing.
too.
Wow.
Nothing.
How do they even know the total then?
Pretty
Guys,
sure wow, that's crazy. I would not have
Estimates,
expected
dude.
that.
Yeah, like
it's an estimate. And I'm like, how do you have
wow,
a
like-
fucking estimate, homie? Like,
you're gonna just estimate 4 million.
no.
To me.
Do you understand? Like, do you understand how deep this goes? Like,
Yeah.
like there could be
Yeah.
10,000 listeners that morning, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I assumingly paid for like
4
$1 million
Yeah.
to show up at that time.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Hello.
They're like 4 million a year. Listen. Like, you know, like where
Yeah,
they get,
yeah.
if they can't give me data on time.
I will
like,
say,
how are they
though,
getting me
Yeah.
data on
It has to do
totals?
something because so I had this client in California in the kind of like Silicon Valley area. Dude owns a car or a window tinting company.
Mm-hmm.
Spends
Connect us.
huh?
We do like 200 window tinting shops marketing.
You don't want him. Trust me.
Oh, keep him to yourself.
No,
As
no,
a
no.
friend.
He's not a client anymore.
As a friend.
I had a client.
Oh, past ex-client friend / ex.
Let's just say this dude was quite literally spending $30,000 a day on radio ads.
30 grand a day on radio.
And he wasn't doing
What?
any social.
He came to us because he wanted to like
Start.
30 grand.
The
a
guy
day,
who
bro?
built his funnel had him reach out to me, and like I'm like, who are you? Like, who are you?
money laundering for sure.
Whoa.
That's radio ads. And then he came to me and wants to spend 10 grand a day on Facebook ads and another
For
5 grand a
tinting
day
job?
on Google ads.
Yikes. So
and he's one window tinting shop,
He has like multiple locations.
but still.
But still, a day, family. A day.
You're talking like 60 grand a day in ads.
Dude.
Wow.
Homie was laundering money.
Like we have a minimum spend requirement. We have a minimum spend requirement, Hemon, right?
Yeah.
$1,000 a day. You gotta spend that minimum to even like
to even
hop
work
on a
with
call.
you guys, yeah.
So the buddy reached out and he was like, "Hey, I got this friend. He could reach out to you." And I get on the call. I didn't know what kind of business he had, but he was like, "Dude, we've been crushing it. Like, he wants to scale super hard." And I'm like, "Okay, everyone says that, right? Like everyone says they want to spend a lot." I get on the phone with him and we're just kind of getting back and forth. I'm like, "So tell me a little bit about your business." And he like tells me the window tint, and I almost kind of like, I'm like, "Oh man, I do not want to disrespect you by wasting your time. We don't really work with brick and mortar." And he's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Just to be straight up honest, our retainers are very expensive, and brick and mortar, we have a minimum spend requirement, $1,000 a day." He was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. What do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm spending this. I just did 30 grand on ads a day." And he's like, "I want to spend as much as possible. Ideally, if I could spend around, I don't know, another 50K a day on Facebook, I think I could really make something here." And I'm like flabbergasted on this call. This has never happened. And I'm just blown away. I've never seen a brick and mortar ever do that. ever. It doesn't make sense.
No,
it's
it
not.
doesn't make any sense.
What was what do you think
I've
was
seen brick and
happening?
mortars do that, but like not $100,000 a day.
Never seen that.
I've seen $10,000 a day.
Yeah.
But
Never seen that.
$100,000, nothing close.
No.
What do you think was happening?
I don't even know because like quite other than
Other than like,
The thing I said.
other than like
did
you
you
guys
say?
ever seen Ozarks? You know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
I actually haven't seen that.
Was that loud?
You're missing out. Ozark is.
Yeah,
I've heard it's actually amazing, dude.
Top-
There's just
top
so
five.
many
S
shows
tier.
that I haven't watched.
It's in the S tier.
but
Top five favorite
anyways,
shows for sure.
yeah, that's crazy.
I would have.
What's the S tier?
S. It's like above A.
It's like God tier.
Yeah.
I don't know why they call it S.
Even
like,
cars.
it's like supreme.
Even cars. There's the S tier of
I
cars
gotcha.
and there's the A tier of cars.
You know.
It's good. It's a good one.
S tier is like A++.
All right.
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
So there's a lot of things in life that are like I give it an A, and then there's some that are like it's off the charts.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's like something that'll always hold that spot. Like people can be parallel to it, but not above it, if that makes sense. It's like they're all parallel here.
I feel you.
Ozark's an S tier. Have you seen it?
No.
I actually haven't, but I've heard it's amazing.
You need to watch. You need to watch. In fairness, as well, because I exited it like 2 or 3 times to start. Get through like half the season, and then you're basically fucked at that point. Yeah. Then at that point you get it, and you're like, this is gonna be the sickest, most relatable shit ever. Like, you could be like, you look at it, and you're like, this could have easily been me.
It's kind of like
every
breaking.
step
Is
of
it
the
kind of
way.
like, is it kind of like Breaking Bad?
Right? Come on. Like, if you're in that situation, like, think about how it started. Remember how it started?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Is it kind of
I
like
would have
Breaking
taken
Bad?
that deal.
what? Yeah.
I would have did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, sure, what do you need? Okay, I got it. No problem.
Figured it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
What?
Just watch it.
I was saying, is it kind of like Breaking Bad?
Kind of in a way. It's
bit?
not,
Sure.
but I could see
Okay.
how someone like if someone said it. Oh, it's kind of like I could be like, you're not
Sure.
wrong,
Sure,
you know,
sure,
but,
sure.
Like no.
Sure.
You're not wrong,
Like,
but
under the radar concept, right?
Yeah.
I see. I
That's
see.
all.
I have to watch it now.
Yeah, that's it. Breaking Bad is good though. I give it
Breaking Bad is good.
Breaking Bad is an S tier.
Yeah, I love that. I love that show. But I don't remember where we were going with that. Ashton was saying something.
What?
I don't even know. I'm gonna wrap it up anyways because
It's late.
It's like
It's very late. What time
like-
is it actually?
2, almost
Whoa! Wow! It is 2:45 in the morning. Latest podcast yet. We're only the 3rd podcast in, but it is very late.
Joe Rogan podcast by night.
moving forward, all
day.
podcasts must start at midnight. And we'll just
Indeed.
see how they go.
No, that honestly, this was super fun, guys. If anyone, what's up? If anyone wants to follow you, Ashton, where should they go? How can they find you?
Wait,
Where can they buy?
before. No.
Okay,
I end,
okay.
I end all the episodes with this before we get to that. If you had to give one piece of advice to someone who is, a few years younger than you, let's put yourself like 4 or 5 years back, what would you say is like one thing that you would want? Like, it could be life advice. It doesn't have to be like business, but like life, just something important to like one takeaway. What would it be?
Yeah. So if it's like to an entrepreneur kind of thing,
To someone listening to this, if you had to give like one piece of advice, I feel like we get overloaded with advice all the time.
Yeah.
If you could just exit, like giving someone one fortune cookie
Yep.
paper that says something, what would you want to say?
yeah, I think it's very simple. Play the long game. Like, yeah, play the long game. There's gonna be so many things that are like gonna be dangled in front of you that like, yes, it would be so cool. Yes, it would be great. But play the long game. Go like, what does this actually benefit me a long time from now? Or am I grasping at something because I'm so impatient and I'm so undisciplined that I need to have this? Yeah, that would probably be it.
Love it.
What about you?
I think I kind of spoke to it for a second, but I would say do what you say you're going to do. Like, learn how to do what you say you're going to do every single time. And you'll start to trust yourself in a way that will allow you to start saying bigger and crazier things and just still do them. And then people around you will catch hold of that, and you'll be able to paint a picture for people around you where they'll literally want to jump on board. And like you said, like they'll want to support you. And I think if you don't have that skill, if you don't do the things you say you're going to do, you just won't ever make it in anything. And I think it starts transferring everything. We're all good at it in some places and worse at it in some places. But like, I would just challenge anyone to like, look at, you know, do you say you're going to do a diet and not do it? You know, and we all do that. Like, I do that all the time, but it's like, there's always things you say you're going to do that you don't. Do you, like, one simple thing that I love to do is like, if I say I'm going to share a picture with someone, if I took a picture with someone and they're like, hey, will you send me that? Like, and I'm like, yeah, I send them the freaking picture. Like, I know that's so silly and stupid, but it's just like these tiny things that we do where we say we're going to do it and we don't. We say we're going to follow up and we don't. Hey, let's hang out, and then we don't. And it's like, if you say it, do it. And if you live that way, I mean, you're just guaranteed to have a successful life, and you'll have people around you that actually like you and appreciate you, and they'll be better too.
That's big. I agree.
Love that.
Great points, gentlemen. So with what Andrew was saying, you know, if I'll take it.
Ashton, where can people find you?
Yeah, I think Instagram, I guess, is the most popular thing people do nowadays. So just at ashton.shanks.
Sweet.
And then
Spelled like when you get stabbed in a prison.
yeah, exactly like that. Or hemonmedia.com or thehemongroup.com.
Your name is kind of a sentence.
Yeah.
Ashton Shanks.
It's a verb.
Yeah, that's why
it's
You
basically-
should have a
in
logo
their
just
blood.
of you with like a knife inside.
An
of
A
you.
with like a stab.
Yeah, all the clients who are like, so you're going to stab me in the back? Or like,
I'll stab you in the front, and then I'll twist the knife.
then I'm
With
going to
my pain points of my marketing.
Dance in your blood.
So Ashton Shanks Instagram, that's the best place.
And if people want to, you know, work with you, hit you up.
Yeah,
DM you.
probably, go to my website, thehemongroup.com.
There we go.
The
that's probably
Hemon Group.
The Hemon Group, or
We'll have it
Hemon
linked
Media,
everywhere
both go to
in the
me,
description, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
sweet. Braven.
Yeah, man. You know, our company is Gains in Bulk, gainsandbulk.com.
And that's gains, IN,
Yep.
not and.
Yeah.
Gains in bulk.
Yep, gainsandbulk.com. Or I mean, you can follow me on social. I'm pretty active on Instagram as far as like I like to connect.
Recently, you've become more active as well.
Yeah, like as far as growing my Instagram, but I'm pretty active with like DMs and I'll, you know, shoot me a voice message or something, and I'm pretty active there. So it's just Braven_Grant. You'll see it. So
Big fan of the voice message.
yeah,
On Instagram,
Just in general.
I like
Instagram, WhatsApp.
like the greatest invention was voice notes, and then the second greatest invention was speeding up voice notes.
Dude, yes.
So true.
Oh my God.
Bro, if I see like 3 minutes on a voice note, I'm like
Not a chance.
yeah. Our
bro.
Loom video,
2X.
man.
Chance,
Yeah.
2x while I'm brushing my teeth. That's about.
And I'm like, I kind of wish I had 2.5.
It's so funny. Some people that talk so slow though, you 2x them, and it feels like a other person just talking.
Exactly.
Oh,
you guys ever
that's
seen that?
Audible, dude.
Yeah.
2.5 or nothing, dude. Like, if you're going at a 1.5, I'm like, does your brain work? Speed up.
You're a savage,
I love
bro.
it. I
Thank
love
you so
it.
much, guys. I appreciate you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Taking the time to do this for reference, like 3 a.m. You know what I mean? Like we just
I
drove
love it, man.
from another state through fucking inside roads the whole way somehow, bro. We didn't we just like
Wow.
didn't
Through the
take the
country.
highway route. I don't know what happened.
Wow.
And thank you to you guys, like, for leading the way in the creative space. And I know you guys do so much more. You guys do everything, quite literally. Jeez. But thank you so much for setting a great example for other agencies and what it looks like to serve clients and actually make a difference. Thank you for that. Like, people,
Thank you,
like,
homie.
I look up to you guys so much and what you guys do. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Likewise, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And for everyone listening, thanks for spending all this time listening. If you got this far, then you deserve the knowledge
Yeah,
that
you're
came your way.
Indeed.
something.
And if you made it this far, you've invested this much time hanging out with us, you should probably tell someone else who would probably enjoy this podcast. Send them a link. That's how we spread the show.
Yeah, man.
This is still a new show. So if you enjoyed it this much, I'm sure someone else will
Share it.
share a link.
Do it.
Do your part.
Yeah, do your part. Grow this cult.
It's free.
And you too
Share.
can save a child for 10 cents a month. No,
Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the 4Media Uncut podcast. If you want to work with us, learn with us, or even join the team and be a part of what we're doing at 4Media Marketing, just go to our website. It's 4media.marketing. No .com, no .net, .marketing, because that's all we do around here. And most importantly, share this with a friend wherever you're listening to or watching this on. please hit that share button, send it over to a friend, someone else that you think will get value out of this. It would mean the world to us.
And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video and comment down below any suggestions for future guests. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please rate this 5 stars and leave us a review there. That helps us tremendously in the algorithm world. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of 4Media Uncut Podcast.